Great. So, hi.
Oh, live
Internet.
now. It worked.
We're doing it. Yay.
You
DM does
saw
tech
behind the
support,
screen.
when DM does tech support, y'all, results.
Okay.
I believe it. When Elle does tech support, nothing happens.
Just allow me to bask in my victory here, people. I'm just a problem solver. I just get up, I go places, I solve problems. I pick up the phone, I solve problems. Not in my own life, not personally, which is pretty frequently a mess, but in other situations, I solve problems.
I'm just going to go ahead and say, usually my problems are solved by unplugging it and plugging it back in, and I'm aware of this.
AKA IT rule number 1.
Yes.
Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Did you try turning it off and
You
on?
guys laugh, but you don't know how often my problems have been solved when an IT guy was like, "Hey, I know you're gonna hate me, but did you turn it on and off again?" And I was like, "Of course I did." And then I turn it on and off, and it works.
Yeah. Also, a side episode of Rari as a tech support guy. I would.
Good money.
What are you talking about? You turned it off and turned it back on. What would that change? How does that alter the matrices of possible actions?
Did you ask it very nicely?
No, I've been tracking it for 5 minutes.
I've been.
I have found when you punch me
makes
really
it
hard,
jump for
you get a brand new one. So that works out
Yeah.
sometimes too.
That's true.
You can ask Lawrence about that.
These are smart solutions.
Did you do the thing where you found the right cable and plugged the cable in? Because sometimes you don't have the right cable. All right, folks.
DM
Welcome,
sounded like the
everybody.
cast of Dairy Girls.
Yeah, all right. I didn't hear all that sentence, but it kind of felt like a dig. So I'm going to just move on classily.
Welcome to Wealdport. This is episode 7 of our show. I think it's 7.
Oh my gosh, we've been
Lucky
doing
number
this a
7.
while.
Yeah, no, and it's going great. Here we are with a group of some of my favorite people. I am back in the captain's seat, which has been kept warm for me like exquisitely well by Chloe and Dan. I'm so grateful, especially everybody for covering for me with a great session when I was off on business, and I'm really looking forward to see what Bill's got for us next week. But for tonight, boss is back, baby.
Quick recap from last week in case you missed it. The long and the short of it is Edith and Rose's house is now haunted.
Good haunted. Ish.
Good haunted with a traumatized ghost that can fix things, which is lovely. And also they expelled a not nice fey creature from the basement. So apparently the land around here is just weird. They also met their nosy neighbor who seems to know everything about the university and everything that was built there. So hopefully her archival skills can come back into use later.
Romantic tension mounted, which was cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was nice. We had a good time.
The pressure on that that valve on that pipe is mounting past code regulations.
Oh yeah, Edith is going to have none of that. That is full
Drama.
stop.
Folks.
Rose, we are having words.
We can have them. It won't change anything.
So is that sufficient, you think, folks, for a recap, or do we want to dive right in to the calm before the storm?
We should dive right in. If you want more of a recap than that, you can check out our previous episodes. They are all stored on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page.
You can do that. You should. And as I take one final sip of my beer that tastes like a pine cone, I begin to regale you with a tale of mystery, horror, murder, and missing books. And this tale starts with one Michael Connor as the others are off going about their day-to-day life. We'll get back to you guys in a little bit. Mike, sleep has been coming uneasily for you the last few days. It comes uneasily for you most days, to be fair, but these last few, you felt it in your dreams. You're more aware and more grounded than most, and you felt like someone is attempting to make contact with you, that your dreamscape is once more being probed to be joined with a familiar force, a familiar energy. And though you don't quite know what it takes to do it, after a couple nights of effort, you fall asleep one evening and find yourself back adrift, the colorless fog, by the river you dreamt into being, that is now being fished by whoever or whatever saved your life back on the island. And he welcomes you to this space with a nod at the rod you left when you conjured this pond from the ether. And he silently invites you to take a spot alongside him.
I'll start fishing without saying a thing, probably for what seems like a couple hours. We just stand on the river, fish for a while until he's ready to talk.
He breaks the silence. What do you do after you catch them? That's the part I can't figure out.
Catch who?
Well, the fish, right? You said this was fishing, so every
Yeah.
once in a while I allow myself to land a fish. See, watch. And he stares at the water and then pulls a nice rainbow trout out. Good size, looks at it, frowns, and it just disappears.
You fry them in a little butter, a cast iron pan, maybe just a little bit of garlic. Delicious.
Why on earth would you do that?
Well, in the mortal world, it's necessary to survive.
Is this one of those taste things?
Yes.
I've always been intrigued by that experience. You and your ilk, you live for such things. You pursue them with such dogged insistence. You always want more, greater sensation, greater experience, greater memory. I think that's beautiful.
We're hardwired to desire certain things that are necessary for our survival. Food's certainly one of them.
That's what I'm hoping. Survival is a concept that I fear may once again be implicated for you and for those you have found your way into the orbit of.
Talking about the girls?
The girls, the being they carry with you, the subject from the island.
What kind of danger would they be in?
It's difficult to scry, difficult to conceptualize. All I know is once I expended the energy and the force of will to join this place, which I expect is an extension of me, to you, it has lingered. Now, not entirely of my own will. I believe in the concept of privacy. You understand. I don't want to be here. I don't want to invade your thoughts on a whim or an unconscious one. But here I sit, and of late, I feel ill tidings. I feel a pressure from beyond this space encroaching on it, squeezing it, shrinking my power, drawing from it. And I feel that something truly dangerous is circling you. I don't want to scare you, but I felt like you should know.
Well, thank you. If anytime you have some sort of knowledge of that sort of thing, I would much rather you tell me than be concerned about my privacy. Do you have any sort of idea of what might be threatening us?
What do you understand of magic, Mike O'Connor?
Not a great deal. I know there's white magic and black magic, and I've
Those
been
are
involved.
arbitrary constructs, boundaries put in place by mortal authorities like the kind you hold up as a guiding beacon to enforce some sort of spectrum of morality or ethicality onto what is, in essence, an exercise of power over reality. Your right to divide right and wrong on any axis of what magic can create, what it can do. Because the more wrong you tend to think something is, the more damage it does to the world you live in. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
That morality dictates more than just how militant wings of churches and religions, militant hunters, anti-magicians, the Arcanum in all its glory. I don't know if you know what that is, that fraternity of mages that flits about Europe. It's a way for them to codify their behavior, to otherize people who deviate from it. But really, when you get right down to it, what mankind tries to do with forces it can't understand, comprehend, or control is mitigate danger. Would you agree?
Yes. I think in most circumstances that's true.
You, for reasons that are beyond my comprehension, beyond my knowledge, no matter how much I probe the mind of the boy, I can come up to no new insights, no comprehension, have stumbled upon the path of a group of individuals who do not view magic on a spectrum of morality, who do not apply ethics to their behavior, who view it as power, as a means of separating themselves from humanity. It is an instinct that mankind has possessed since you crawled from the primordial ooze. You made fire, and then you desired to make something greater than fire. It is in your makeup. It is in your alchemy. And what you must understand, Michael Connor, is you have encountered a man and his like-minded fellows who seeks to do nothing less than break the world as we know it, to push magic in a direction it has never gone before, and in a way that I'm not certain you will survive. And if you don't survive, I won't survive. We're linked on a level I can't quite figure out how to disentangle myself from. You don't strike me as a passive man, Mr. Connor. Is that true?
I've never really been described that way.
Threads of destiny spin about your head. They spool up around the head of Miss Rosemary and Miss Edith. They spin about the head of Rory Flynn, such as he is. And they spin about the head of young Thomas, although his ending, I suspect, won't be a happy one. They pull you together, they bind you in a web, and then they circle a yawning void. You're going to have the chance to avert that yawning void. This is me telling you, this is me giving you advance notice. Don't run away from the fight. Don't run away from the struggle. Don't sit on a chair and drink an ale while the world is broken around you, because that is coming.
It's not in my nature to run away from the fight or to sit there while good people suffer.
I know. I find that fascinating, and I'm grateful for it. I'm going to give you one final piece of advice. You can heed it or not, though I suggest the former. You can do nothing with the books, Michael Connor. Rory can do nothing with the books. Edith and Rose certainly can't. Thomas, you don't want to let do anything with the books, but they are infinitely safer in your possession than they are in his.
Which books?
Wake up, Mr. Connor. Wake up and smell the void. And you're up.
Press check on the pistol.
Yep. I mean, you're ready to go. You always are. What have you been up to the last couple of days?
I was actually tracking down a standard run-of-the-mill thug who jumped bail and then beat up his girlfriend. And he was basically a scumbag who had to be taken down. Not anything supernatural, but just a common criminal.
Did it feel good to get back to that kind of work?
Somewhat. It's a little somewhat boring, but still rewarding. It's a lot quicker, like a lot more immediate gratification when you can take somebody and throw them back in prison as opposed to trying to chase down a wizard and you have months before you can actually track him down. So,
What kind of phone do you have, Mike?
he has an iPhone, whatever the latest model is. I don't know.
You notice as you shake the sleep from yourself, the fog, in a practiced way, you're capable of doing it faster than most, that the notification light on your older generation iPhone is blinking.
Check it.
You have 2 text messages from your conduit to your organization's upper echelon, which you know to mean knowledgeable church leadership itself. They don't communicate with you directly, but they have a guy who keeps in touch with you only when something very serious or significant is going on. This is not a marching orders liaison. This is a avatar of the highest run.
How long ago is the most recent text?
18 minutes.
Text him back saying, I'll be, wherever our standard meeting place is in an hour, whatever, as soon as I can get there.
He texts you a confirmation.
Get dressed, check on Thomas if he's next door. What time is it, by the way?
This is about 5:45 in the morning, and Thomas is asleep. He sleeps like the dead, and you've noticed that he has been bushed the last few days. He has not had an easy go of it. He doesn't really want to talk about it, although he hasn't been hostile to any attempts you might have made to do so. He's just morose and tired.
Write him a quick note. Thomas, had to attend to business. I'll check in on you when I can. You text my cell or have the girls text my cell and head off. Try to stop for coffee along the way. Black.
Absolutely. Well, that's fair. And at this time of the morning, the line wouldn't be too brutal, although the business district does get an early start in Wealdport. But you're off to the meeting place. Where would that be?
I assume it'd be on church ground. There's a cathedral. There, be several buildings. They're one of the more conspicuous buildings.
You notice it's mostly empty, other than the father doing just some basic maintenance duties, sweeping up, lighting and replacing candles. But that a gentleman in a suit and a wide-brimmed hat sits in the front pew as if waiting for you.
I go sit beside him. As I come in, do the holy water and cross myself. And go sit beside him in the pew.
Mr. Connor, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, sir.
How are you doing, son?
I'm doing all right. I have people I've come into contact with and become intertwined with. I'm concerned for 2 of them are young girls. I don't know how well suited they are to this line of work, but they seem to have been drawn in. There's another being. He's not human. I don't know what he is. He seems harmless, but I don't know much about him. And then there's another lad who's been touched by otherworldly power, and he's been damaged, but he's also stronger because of it. He seems like a good person.
Well, as you know, my son, sometimes we are called in ways we don't understand or feel suited for. But all that's to us is to answer the call or not. Are you answering the call, Michael?
I am.
I know your answer to this question, Michael, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just to give you the opportunity to say it to me. Do you stand by every word of the report you gave last month?
I do, sir.
I believe you. And what's more, His Holiness and the Council on such matters believe you as well, unanimously, every word. We've never had reason to doubt. I hope you know that that's a problem, Michael.
Yes, I'd much rather be wrong, but I'm not.
Michael, I am going to give you some details that I would ordinarily never give a warrior, a crusader in your position. Details that I feel will illustrate the scope of the situation we are in and impress upon you the need for your continued action. I trust that you'll keep these confidential. I understand that you are tending something akin to a flock of your own, that you have taken who you perceive to be the vulnerable under your wing. But you lend them your strength, not the entirety of your knowledge. Understood?
Of course.
We're at capacity, Michael. We're stretched thin beyond what we can cover. We are jam over too much toast. We are water unfit to fill the tank. We are under siege in every corner of our world from worlds apart. I don't have the bodies to call to the field here to support you. I have spent the majority of my political capital and my favors in law enforcement and the commercial interests in this city to obtain resources. Resources that I'm going to give to you because other than spiritual support, operational advice, my knowledge of the forces that you find arrayed against you, you currently stand alone against things as they unfold here. I fought for it to be otherwise, but I was rejected. You're never alone, my son. I just can't always be there.
I appreciate anything you can give me, especially your prayers.
Not a night goes by where we don't pray for you, where we don't pray for this city that finds itself so often at the nexus of such events. But where prayers and faith do not bridge the entire gap between the islands floating over oblivion, we must occasionally make alliances that we find unsavory in times of peace. I have reached out with blood and treasure to an individual who I will align with you now, who is going to provide you with information and resources. I leave it up to you what they will be used to do. If you keep your heart righteous, keep your aims pure, let your faith and your moral compass guide your decisions. I know that you'll use them correctly. That's all I can do for you right now.
I trust in you. I trust in my faith.
That's a power of its own, Michael. Remember, they wouldn't be afraid of it if it wasn't. And he stands, pats you on the shoulder, and says, wait here for 5 minutes or so, and more will become clear. And he leaves.
So there's a priest in the room?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a confessional?
There is.
I got 5 minutes. I want to go do a quick confession because he can drop dead at any moment. He wants to make sure all his sins are confessed at all times.
All right. And he avails you of that sacrament. Would you care to articulate any of what you ask absolution for?
hatred for his fellow man and anger. Even though some of the people he's dealt with have done horrible things, he still shouldn't hate them. Hate the sin, but not the sinner.
He tells you what you must do, the Our Fathers and the Hail Marys, and offers you a word of comfort. You have his respect. You've been a mainstay of this community for a while. And when you leave, you find the Monsignor's place at the pew taken by a very sharply dressed man in a pinstripe suit, gaudy, golden watch, golden tie clip, wearing sunglasses inside, one leg crossed over the other, checking his watch, clearly waiting for you.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's fine. Did you get everything you need in there?
I did.
Wonderful. All right, Mr. Connor, let's take a walk. I don't have a lot of time, and I have a lot to fill you in on. He motions for you to follow him.
You have me at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm not in the habit of giving away my name to types such as you. It's no offense, not a personal slight. It's just a way to keep myself safe. As far as you are concerned, I am the liaison to the senior partners of Strutherford, Hathaway, and Ward, the law firm that your organization both uses for all of its clandestine and occult services, as well as I understand the law firm that you take contract investigative work from time to time. Your file is full of exemplary performance reviews, and I want to give you a kudos for that.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. He hands you a folder.
Start looking through it as we're walking.
In this, you're going to find a property deed and various acquisition paperwork for a slightly renovated factory space abandoned in the industrial district, just 3 blocks from the waterfront. It's in a low crime sector of that district. You should find yourself unbothered by the hoodlums and violent criminals that are unfortunately taking over that area. Law enforcement will increase patrols of that area requisitely for about 6 weeks in order to give you peace of mind as you set up, whatever it is you people set up in a place like that. You should find the space substantial. And if you flip to the back, you see that paper clip hanging off the back of the folder there?
Yes.
That's a check. You're not going to be awed by the amount, but it's a considerable sum. You're to use that for startup costs to get your, shall we say, your space up and running. Hopefully, I will be able to funnel more funds to you clandestinely as the accounting prevails and allows me to do, but it's going to be slow going. I'm going to leave it up to you largely what you put there, how you kit it out for whatever it is that you need to do here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, don't mention it. Acquisitions, outfitting, and operational support are part of the service package we offer our occult and eldritch interested clients. Now, the second item that was purchased with the retainer supplied by the church in Rome is a presentation with relevant information gained from the investigation undertaken after you provided your report 1 month and 13 days ago. I was under the understanding, based on my debriefing documents, that you might wish to have an audience for this presentation. Your companions, the college student, their pet, and the troubled boy with the juvenile record.
Actually, 2 college students.
I can never tell how old someone is these days. Once you get to be over a century, they kind of run together. Youth, it's relative, you understand.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a couple of days to move in, as it were. Pay special attention there to the Post-it note on the penultimate page there. That is your pin pad to get through the security system. It's rudimentary, but it should suffice. I recommend you beef out the security at your earliest possible convenience. I will call upon you in, shall we say, 72 hours. Set your watch, and he does so, to give you the fruits of my particular investigative labors. I'm sorry we didn't use you. You understand there was a little bit of a conflict of interest, and we needed an unbiased fact-finding mission.
I understand.
Yeah. Well, I will see you in 3 days, Mr. Connor. Should you need anything, you are advised and it is requested that you process all your communications through the law firm. Do not file communications up through the church hierarchy. It is considered at this moment that those lines of communication might not be quite secure in these challenging climates for our client.
I understand.
Yes. And get some rest, Mr. Connor. You look like hell. I'll see you in 3 days.
Thank you.
And one of the things that you get the strong sensation of as he leaves is that is a weird dude. You feel distinctly uncomfortable and oily as he walks away. But the documents he left you are what they purport to be.
I'm driving down there and checking it out.
It is. Well, I would say that it was a nice space, but I would be lying. It's an abandoned factory on the corner of the industrial district that butts up against the dockyards. He is correct that given its proximity mostly to shipping containers and junkyards with dogs and gentlemen with guns, that it's oddly safe for the downtrodden and newly gentrified component of the industrial district. It's prime real estate if it wasn't in such disrepair. It's large. It's got all the electrical capacity and machine hookups that you could fantasize about having. And you can't really tell, but if you had to guess, somebody has used this space before for a similar reason that you're about to. There's a cage in the back that you know was not there when it was built.
All right, I walk around everything. First, I'm gonna check out the roof, check out windows, start drawing up plans. What time is it now? But spend maybe an hour.
You're about 9 a.m. now.
Oh, I'm gonna text the girls, send a pin, say, hey, come check this out. Drop a pin.
One of the things you notice that you find incredibly notable is up on the roof, you find a prepared defensive nest, a sniper's position, complete with an incredibly irresponsibly abandoned rifle.
What kind of rifle?
I would have to look up the exact model because I don't know off the top of my head, but military issue and typically very high quality.
M40A3?
We'll say yes.
Okay. I know what that is.
Yeah, it is the weapon that is designed for you to pull the trigger and somewhere half a mile away, someone's head just goes away. And then 5 seconds later, they hear the noise of the gunshot.
All right.
Right on. And now we're going to go to the girls. Edith, Rose, you wake up on a lovely Friday morning, made all the better because your one class of the day, one of the classes you have together, has been canceled. The professor is not feeling well, which you know is probably code for got himself in some trouble. He's pretty well known for being something of an irresponsible Lothario, but you're happy to not have to go. You've been kind of just settling in over the last couple of days, getting to know your new ghostly roommate who seems very, very eager to please you, has been fixing things that aren't broken, but otherwise has been more or less friendly and almost sycophantic.
Rose?
Yeah?
Can you tell Kat to stop gluing the book pages together?
I can do that.
Please?
No, I got this. It's totally okay.
I would talk to her, but I think she thinks I'm mad all the time. I'm not mad all the time.
You're not mad all
really
the time.
stressed.
You're just really strong.
I'm stressed.
Yeah. Hey, Kat.
A cup rattles on the counter.
First, you're doing a great job.
The cup rattles.
Not. She's doing too much. She's doing too much.
You don't have to glue the book pages together. We actually like them apart.
The cup rattles again, almost ashamed.
Oh, no, but you're doing a really good job, though. And I'm really proud of you.
You notice as you guys kind of walk into the kitchen where you begin your days, that the refrigerator door is open and the oven is on. She's been trying to help you make breakfast the last several days.
She's literally so cute.
I mean, I'm going to take your word for it. All I've seen so far is cups moving where they shouldn't be, and the door was glued shut the other day. I think she wanted me to like stay in bed longer, but I needed to go to work. I needed to get there.
Doing her best. We'll figure it out. It's learning.
The cabinets tap meekly.
Oh no, you're doing great. Don't worry. And she'll like go over and start trying to pick up breakfast wherever Kat left off.
It is kind of cool that she makes us food. I do like that.
She's really good at it.
She's a pretty good cook, actually. You get the sense that she's learned something from every meal that's been cooked in this kitchen since her unfortunate, horribly traumatic eldritch bonding to the place. But she can whip up a mean omelet.
She's the best. Rose is just delighted at her all the time.
And Edith is like tacitly like, I can't do anything about this. It's happening. It's here. Apparently it's been here and we've been fine. So.
Right. No, for real. She's great. And the worst part of it is gone. So now it's just her. And I think she's adorable.
Rose, I have to ask you though.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you and Thomas?
Nothing.
Okay, but I don't
Why
believe
did he say something?
No. Should he have said something?
No, I was just curious if he did say something. I just thought we had a nice time.
You had a horrible adventure.
Right, but like the parts of it that weren't covered in blood were a really good time.
Rose, I don't think he's safe.
I don't know that that's fair to say. He's different.
I don't think fair has anything to do with it. I think it's true.
I think you just need some friends, Edith.
Dangerous people need friends too.
I just don't think he's as dangerous as maybe you and Mike think he is.
I don't think he wants to be dangerous.
Exactly.
Okay.
All I know is that since everything went bad, he's been kind of normal and fun and nice. And I think he thinks I'm cute, which is always a bonus.
Did you watch Tiger King?
Of course we watched Tiger King. We watched it together.
Okay, so remember how adorable the baby lions and the tigers were, and like even the adult tigers, they were adorable and they loved their owners until they ate them.
Okay.
Not because the tigers were evil.
Not a tiger.
They were just hungry.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I see what you're saying, but I just don't get that from him. Thomas is safe. Everything he does makes me feel safe.
Okay, just promise me if anything weird happens, you will get out of the fallout zone.
If something weird happens, weirder than has already happened.
Something weird with Thomas. Something that he can't control. Because I don't think people are made to hold whatever he's holding.
I promise to be careful, Edith.
I'm just holding coffee. Standing there with 2 carafes from the local coffee shop.
You are so quiet.
Don't get me wrong. It is kind of warm, but I think I can handle it. I came all the way here on foot.
You did great.
Wait, hold on. Are you traveling by other ways than on foot?
No, I walk everywhere.
Okay,
It's
good.
a really nice city, though. It's super friendly. Like this coffee, they just leave this on the counter for you, and you pick it up, and they just wave at you as you leave. Like super
Thomas,
nice. But
you have to pay for coffee.
with what?
Mhm. With money.
Oh, that's
Here.
better than what everyone else has been asking me to pay for in the neighborhood Mike's staying in. Whew, it's aggressive and inappropriate.
Well, you're not going back to Mike's. That's what we just learned.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He just moved out of the spare bedroom, and it was fine. He's good at Mike's.
The church was supposed to find me a place to stay. They're not really doing that. In fact, I know I shouldn't listen in or pay attention because it's rude, but they seem to not be doing much for Mike lately. I think he might be getting a little frustrated.
Okay. But what's wrong with staying with Mike? It's way safer than here. It's not haunted.
Okay, weird, nice, haunted.
He has a lot. He has a lot of weapons, which is good. If anything bad would ever happen, there would be a spare gun or 20. But he doesn't like to talk. He's very quiet. Like sometimes we'll just sit and stare, and you can tell that he's thinking about things that are deeply personal and very powerful. I don't remember anything. So I pretty much just think about the last thing I punched or the last funny thing Rory said or what Rose was wearing the other day that I liked. I don't really have anything else interesting to think about.
You're thinking about what Rose is wearing?
She looks cute all the time. I mean, you do too, except you always kind of look like you're going to bite my head off.
That's because you say things like you're thinking about what Rose is wearing.
That's a normal thing to think.
No, it is not, Rose.
Is this one of those moments where I was not supposed to say what I was thinking? Because Mike says that there are a lot of those moments, and I need to get a
It's
lot
fine.
better about
No,
not
you're
saying what
fine.
I'm.
It's fine. You're okay. I don't find any offense to know that you think I look cute sometimes. That's a normal thing.
All the time. Really, when you get right down to it, it's kind of unfair. It's distracting, like when you're fighting a bunch of ghost actresses. Like, I suppose it's a pleasant distraction when you think that the ghost actresses are going to bite your head off. She was very scary.
The monster just kind of looked like, you remember in Ever After the Villain?
I do. That was a weird movie.
Edith, look, it's fine. We can talk later if you want. I promise to be careful.
Hey, Edith,
What?
will I give you one of these pilfered coffee containers? Will you let me have 2 minutes to talk to Rose alone? It's. and he
Hey,
looks at the
Cat.
bottom.
Hey, Cat. If he tries to do anything to Rose, will you drop a piece of ceiling on his head?
A cabinet opens and smacks Thomas in the hip. Ah!
Kat, that's not very nice.
Well,
Edith, that wasn't very nice.
she sees what I'm going to go find Rory. See if he'll help me with getting ready for this final.
So, first, I'm sorry for stealing the coffee. I did not know that's what I was doing, but in the future, I will present legal tender for coffee.
Don't worry, we'll drop some off on the way.
Thanks. I would really like to make it up to them. I thought they were waving goodbye because they were happy to see me, but now I'm thinking they weren't.
It's okay. We'll tip them big and it'll be okay.
And second, I wanted to say that I'm sorry for what happened when the house went crazy and tried to kill us both. And I went on autopilot and tried to beat the actress ghost to death in a fit of rage.
It's okay, Thomas. You were upset.
I get really upset, though.
I mean, I don't know what you're going through. I can't say I'm going through it, but I can't imagine that it feels normal and not scary.
Yeah, it. You know, the part about it that scares me the most is when they hit me, I bounce back really fast. I've been shot, stabbed, hit by monsters, hit by zombie monsters, all kinds of awful stuff in the last few days. And I've been back to normal in like a day or two, which Mike says is unusual. But when you get hit, when you get hurt, I know it doesn't work that way for you. And when you're in danger, all I can think about is that when you get hit, it's for keeps. And it scares me. And when I'm afraid, I get mad.
That makes sense. That's normal. Don't worry. I'm sorry that you've had to see me get hit so much lately, but I'm not really sorry that I was there to help.
Why did you do that? Back at the mansion when that thing was about to take a piece out of me, why did you let it hit you? It could have torn you in half.
Thomas, you've taken a lot of hits for us.
Yeah,
A lot.
I can get up. I heal.
You know that kind of panic that you have when I get hit? All I could think about was that you might not get up that time. And I was okay, so I would get up, right? And I just panicked, and that's what I did. And I'm not sorry that I did it, because you are okay in here, and I'm okay in here. And yeah.
How are you so freaking brave? You have no magic. You have no super strength, which is what Mike called this. You have no whatever it is Rari does with the accent and the lights and becoming a dog. You're just you. And you're the first in any situation that you could not come out of. It's incredible.
I don't know. I just guess I want to impress you. And Edith too, but I think she's mad at me, so.
Listen, I don't know much or I don't remember much, but one of the things that I seem to be okay with is, well, Mike calls it deep background, right? Like, I don't remember many movies, but I know what a movie is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, when you woke me up on that island, I thought that I was dead and that an angel had come to rescue me from that place. So I've been impressed with you from the moment I saw you. So you don't have to put yourself in danger to impress me. You kind of just do it by being incredible and brave and somehow the strongest one of us, even though you're just a person.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thomas, I'm not going to promise that I won't try to help you.
No, just do your best to make sure that I don't have something else to be sad about. And I'll do the same. We can do it.
Yeah.
After all, we got off the island and we solved the haunted house and we made zombie friends. Everything's looking up for us. What's the worst that can happen for now?
Rose does knock on the wood of the cabinet. She's like, just in case. Thomas, I like you.
Yeah, I do. I do too. I mean, like you. I mean, I don't mean like myself. I don't like myself at all. I'm awful.
Nope. Don't do that.
Okay, 2 minutes is done.
I probably deserve that for standing in the doorway too long when I brought coffee, didn't I? I'm gonna go say hi to Rari. Stop being such an awkward train wreck. Bye.
Talk later.
I should be nicer to him, shouldn't I?
A little bit. He's scared. We all are. Edith, I don't want you to be mad at me.
I'm not mad at you. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't think you understand how dangerous this is. I don't think you understand how hurt you can get. And I don't think you understand how long that hurt can last. Also, boys are stupid.
Not all of them.
Okay, well,
I know you're here to protect me. But you have to trust me just a little bit.
I trust you just fine.
Do you?
I do not trust Thomas's hand.
Okay, but Thomas's singular hand
Mm-hmm.
is not Thomas.
A lion's appetite is not the lion.
He's not a beast, he's a person.
Okay,
Just trust me. That if it's bad, I won't put myself in danger.
I do not trust that. You're dumb.
Hey, not
I mean smart dumb. You're smart dumb, but you're dumb.
Edith, that was the meanest thing you've said to me. That was not nice.
So we are going to leave that moment of tension to go to the couch where Thomas is looking to touch base with Rari.
He would have been staring at something in his hands that he would quickly move to cover up as soon as he heard movement. Oi, Tom. Good to see you, friend. How's it going?
Yeah, I haven't been able to touch base with you since the whole thing with the dead people. How are you doing?
Just fine. Quite, back to normal, more or less. Few more things floating about, I suppose.
You okay?
Better than never. Why'd you ask?
Well, I don't really remember getting kidnapped and taken to that island, but it still bothers me. And you weren't treated all that gently by those poor, maligned Walking Dead victims.
It's gotten to the point where enough people have taken me somewhere against my will that it's kind of on a sliding scale of things, and they're on the good end.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Hey, listen, feel free to tell me to shove it if you want, but I have a question, and I was hoping that maybe I could get a little insight from, I think, maybe the only person who might know a little bit about what something's like.
Now, is this going to be the talk, Thomas? Because, I do know what mummies and daddies do at night, but
Apparently they don't steal coffee.
Oh, no, they've got gift cards for that.
That's what I should have brought. I should have obtained a gift card. All right. Well, no, see, I came for one piece of insight, and hopefully I'm going to walk away with two. I appreciate it.
By all means.
So everybody really tries really hard not to ask you to disclose too much because it's your story, and you're welcome to tell it. But I've got an inkling that you know what it's like to feel like, and he looks around, and then he just holds up his hand. Feel like a piece of yourself cut off from the whole.
Well, you're doing an awful lot of supposing, but sure, let's say I know something. What would you be asking?
So I have no idea how things came to be this way for you. And I think a second of critical thinking would tell me that it wasn't strictly intentional. But if somebody finds themselves getting bigger, getting stronger, getting meaner, and they want to be more just like we are now. How do you squeeze it down?
Oh. I can't say I've done a whole lot of trying to press myself down. But based on my own experience, if I was to tell you who might be able to do such a thing, I'd find someone who might be bigger and badder. I mean, don't get me wrong, the biggest, baddest one we've found so far, real no-go, because I'm going to kill him. Might have a few other options here and about, though. Mike might know someone. There's the terrifying lady back at the HOA. Or
She was scary, wasn't she?
more than a bit. But who knows what else is out there? There's a whole world of big, scary folk just waiting to be discovered.
Is it like a requirement that they have to be bigger and scarier than me?
Just strong enough, I suppose, to try and bury the big, bad thing down a bit, seems.
I tell you a secret.
Go ahead.
You know that we've got a ghost in here, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think she's polite, or at least I hope she is. I do need to take a piss every now and then.
Well, she was, shall we say, sharing the space with something a lot more hostile. Something old, something angry, something very cryptic. And
I heard whispers. Sounds like it might have been something I'm at least a bit familiar with.
so, you know how when we were on the island and we blew that building up, we like all worked together and we did this whole big working, and those things were coming like a tide, and we had to bring out the big guns to take care of them, right? Everything we had, like a grenade dropped in kerosene.
Boy, it was a big moment.
Well, when Rose and I were trying to get rid of the other one, the mean thing, it was tough, and it was bigger, and it was stronger than me. And then something happened to me, and I got stronger and angrier. And rather than fight me, it ran. It took one look at me. It knew exactly what was happening. And before I could so much as ask it a question, it fled as fast as it could. And there isn't a trace of it left in this house.
Well, now I'm beginning to think that you might have a problem, Tom. At least regards my advice. Because, come to think about it, our friend back at the mansion, his interest and the reaction of such things as we're talking about might indicate might not be too many bigger, tougher folk able to push it down a bit for you.
Except maybe you, right?
Theoretically.
Well,
Why?
let's say, hypothetically speaking, as you like to say, the opportunity would come along to where maybe you had access to more of you, enough of you to make you bigger than me. And let's say that I helped you get there. And let's say that when you got there, the only thing I asked for in return is that you help hack this thing off.
Begs the question of if you tried doing it the old-fashioned way yet, but I see what you're saying.
This thing on my left arm makes magic weaker, makes bonds weaker, and I get stronger every time I fight something bigger and badder than me. I suspect that at some point I might be strong enough to help you. And I wanted to ask if you were receptive to helping me, if I'm receptive to helping you.
If all you're asking is that, given the opportunity, I might divest someone of power and make myself the biggest, baddest, boyest on the block, no need to worry. I'll help you, Tom.
Edith's afraid of me. Rari and Rose should be. And I don't want anyone to be afraid of me.
Well, first off, Edith's afraid of damn near everything. Secondly, whatever, you are, you're at the very least useful, and you've got to admit it.
I throw a mean left hook.
Aye. Mean left hook. Good one.
Keep me in mind. And if we have the opportunity to help each other, you just remember we had this talk, okay? And keep this between us.
Rory's mind is, for the record, flashing back hard to speaking with the king, with whom he has the deal to, if somebody else gets their hands on his power, he's supposed to kill Thomas, and he agreed rigorously.
Yeah.
Regular Tom, don't worry. I'll be watching your back.
I'm relieved that somebody who knows about this stuff is. Thank you. Hey, and then he takes out his phone. It's buzzing.
The green
that-
one. It's
That's
the green
mine.
one. Yeah, boy, the green one.
Yeah. Mike? Mike, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Reception in this house is terrible ever since the ghost. Hey, I'm
Yep.
sorry, Cat. I'm sorry.
The what?
Oh, we got
It's
one.
a really long story. I'll tell it to you later. What's going on? I got your note. Is everything okay?
Yeah. You're over at the girl's house?
Yeah. I thought I would get everyone coffee and donuts, and then I accidentally stole coffee and donuts, and it was a whole thing. But it's resolved now.
Okay.
Mostly.
Hey, I'm dropping a pin on your phone, everybody else's phone. The girls explain to you what it means.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a chance, come down and check this out.
Yeah, sure. Are you safe? Do I need to grab something heavy?
No, we're just come check it out. You'll see.
All right. Awesome. I'll go rustle them up. I was just talking to Rari while the girls did that thing where they're passive aggressively sniping at each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that's like.
Yeah. I'll be right there. Girls, ladies, Rose and Edith, whatever I'm supposed to call you.
Rose and Edith, that's fine.
Girls and ladies is also fine. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
And no
Mike
echo.
was called, and he said, and I quote, I dropped a pin on your phone to go to a location. I have something to show you. And he said that you guys would say what that means and that you would take the lead from here. And here's my phone. The password is 1112.
Very nice.
I thought that was good. I
Is
thought
this
it was a good one.
I love
Okay.
a climactic finish.
That's right.
I'll take the phone and look at it. And he wants us to go to the abandoned warehouse district.
Great.
That sounds ominous.
Okay, well, at least my friend isn't telling us to meet him at a warehouse.
Okay, well,
Is Mike not our friend?
no, Mike's. I don't.
Not for nothing, but I was watching this show called Cops Wealdport, and when they go down there, typically they get hit hard, and hit fast. So I'm going to bring the baseball bat. And he
Yep.
just trots off.
Rose,
I'm gonna-
grab
I'm
a
gonna
couple
bring books.
knives. Rory, do you have anything?
Books.
That's true. Rory, did you ever get a sword?
I got a bad history with them, but if you'd like me to haul one around, I could.
I mean, you don't have to. It just
that-
seems like weird.
Could I get
weapons.
one of them? Could I get one of them Japanese ones, all curvy like?
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure they sell those
I was
down
gonna
at the
say,
bookstore.
I saw a
The
film
pawn
once. They
shop,
cut a fella
too.
clean in half, right at the middle.
Was it animated?
Oh,
Probably.
is that why the colors were all funny?
Mhm.
Yep.
It was animated.
Hey, guys. And Thomas
Yeah.
trots back up with his phone and the aluminum softball bat he got from Edith's closet.
Yeah, that. Yeah,
I think I
take
did.
that. Thank you.
I think I did a good thing. I mean, you can have the bat, but I think I did a good thing. Remember, Rose, how you told me that the Uber chariot, that I should try to pick the one that was closest?
Mhm.
Well, I did, and I think this one's special because it says Black X.
Oh, that's expensive.
But it was only 5 minutes away.
It's fine.
We'll make
It's
do.
fine.
What did I the
You did great.
chariot?
You just picked the fanciest chariot.
It's the coolest sounding letter.
It really is when you get right down to it. Why did they slap X on the marketing? You know that's just going to make people want to push the button.
I know.
Thomas, on Monday, we're getting you a job.
Ooh, I would love a job. I can work. I can make legal tender. I can repay the Dunkin' Donuts for the pilfered coffee.
I mean, they probably won't hire you at the coffee shop, but we could get you all sorts of jobs. There's a bookstore. The pawn shop's always hiring.
Is the tender I can earn at one of these locations adequate to recompense the Dunkin' Donuts for their pilfered coffee?
Yes.
Why don't you just say normal
Wow.
sentences, Thomas?
I'm trying to sound smart, like you guys who go to the university.
I'm sorry. That was unnecessarily judgmental. I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. Let's go.
And the four of us, four of you, take a limo to the industrial district.
To the
Dockyard
abandoned
side.
warehouse.
The limo
The-
driver is like, really? You guys
Yeah,
are
the driver's a
okay.
little uneasy. He checks back with you several times in order to make sure that his instructions were correct.
You know
You
it's
think
10
I-
in the morning, right? You know it's 10 in the morning, not 1 Okay.
And he's like, I've been down here, man. I grew up down here. This is not a good place to be going with a car like this. All right, listen, I got cred, I got priors. But if they catch me with a car like this, they're gonna want to loot this car, man. The mini bar in there has the expensive nuts. I do not feel comfortable being in this. And he loses his nerve and kicks you out about a block in advance. He goes, I'm sorry, you don't have to tip me, and drives off.
Great.
Well, slightly less expensive.
Thomas was up in the sniper's nest making range cards, and so he sees them and waves from up on top of the building.
Oh, it's Mike. He's on the roof.
Should I,
Sure.
He just run downstairs.
oh no,
Open
he's
the
not
gate.
making it any fun.
I mean, I'm just imagining Rory like turning into a duck
duck.
again.
A duck.
Yeah, and it just goes up, and then Mike is downstairs by the time.
Angry duck again.
Where'd Rory go?
He's coming. He came to find you, and he's a duck.
Hey, Mike, is this one of those, what was it on the show? Is this one of those drug deals?
Not exactly. This is all legal, but this is where we can operate out of now, since you girls seem to be insisting on getting entangled in all this. This is make things a little easier and safer for everybody.
Okay, in fairness, we're not insisting on being entangled in things. Things just keep happening.
Are you saying this is going to be our sanctum of sorts?
Sure. I was thinking more headquarters, but sanctum works too.
Sanctum is a cooler word. I vote sanctum.
Very much. And also,
I just am
You know-
confused about
you
how
know
this is safer.
And no offense to our new roommate, but I think that having a place apart from the house to do our magical scheming might be a bit less traumatizing for her.
And what was that about a ghost in the
Okay,
house?
he's great. We're not doing anything to her.
What? To whom? What?
She was stuck in the house with Angelica Houston, who I punched in the face, and now it's just the good ghost.
My shirts were folded yesterday.
A monster that looked like Angelica Houston. Kat is the ghost. She's sweet, and if you exorcise her, I'll never forgive you. And yeah, she does housework. So
Can we tell them about the part where I punched the mean ghost in the face? Because that was a cool part.
he punched Angelica Houston monster in the face.
How old? How old is the ghost? She's a girl.
She's a child. She's probably very old, but she's psychologically like maybe 10.
1930s is what you guys told me.
Yeah, and she's free to go. She's not locked down. She just says that she's not quite ready yet, and she wants to leave on her own time.
I think I will ask her if to go down and talk to her, just to make sure when she goes to the right place.
Always trying to
Save souls, yeah.
That's fair. Her dad was very into some very unfortunate stuff, it sounds like.
He chopped her into
You
pieces.
can talk to her, you just can't get rid of her.
All right, yeah. Well, let me
And
come
be
in.
sensitive about the whole chopped into pieces thing. It's a tender topic.
I can understand that.
So,
Let me show you around.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So it's pretty much bare bones. There's this cage over here. Rory, do you have your book with you?
always.
Do me a favor. Check that thing out. I think it's more than just a cage. Something tells me.
Oh, cages. Fun. You know, people pay good money to get in these things sometimes. The internet told me.
I mean, we're in the district for it.
Just
I would like to see something that I would normally not be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
May I magic at it?
You may. Of course you may.
Okay, that's 3 and a 4, 10 total.
You notice under a very, very thick layer of dust, so thick you almost can't call it dust anymore. It's really more like dirt. A brass circle nailed right into the floor.
Am I aware of the mystical significance of brass in something like this?
Brass in a summoning circle is typically a highly volatile, but depending on your power, a very effective metal used to construct magical containment.
Well, I think someone was bringing up something inside of this cage that they were trying to restrain, both physically and mystically.
so are you in the cage right now, Rory?
No, I'm not in the cage. I'm standing immediately outside of the cage like a sane person.
Do me a favor. Okay. Edith, here's the key. Rory, I want you to go inside the cage and try to get out without using the key. We'll give you the key. If you get panicked, you can use the key to get out. But don't
Can
try to
we
get out of the
make
cage.
Thomas get in the cage?
I was going to say, Michael, no, I'm not getting in the cage.
I'll do it.
I don't feel
It's-
like anyone should get in the cage.
It's like a 10 by 10 foot cage.
No,
Right? So
I'll do it. I owe my cooperation. I'll give it a shot.
Rory, will it withstand Thomas, do you think?
I can try to get out using the black hand.
If it starts to break,
I'd say try to
stop.
get out using your right hand first.
Well, I checked that already. I'm stronger than Thomas without the hand, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. When I'm not angry anyway. Poor Angelica Houston. Anyway, let's give this a shot. And he gets in.
And I lock it.
He tries to open it with his right hand. And, I mean, this is locked.
I pull Rose back as well.
Try and aim the exploding away if you're doing the other.
I mean, not going to lie, guys. I think this is just a door. And he grabs the handle with his left hand and is shot backward as if the door is electrified. He stumbles
Oh my god.
into the brass circle where he starts convulsing.
Unlock it quickly.
Get him out.
Give me the key.
Yeah, I got it. I opened it.
I'm gonna try to pull him out.
Go check it. Don't move him. Don't move him.
What?
Thomas,
No,
you okay?
we gotta get him out of the
And-
circle.
You get him out, but the hand wants to stay. It's just almost as if it's affixed in cement. He gets his body out and he stops convulsing, but his hand is stuck in the circle.
All right, Thomas, look at me. Breathe. Breathe deep. Relax.
That hurt,
Relax.
dude.
Relax. Breathe deep.
Oh, that hurt
Look
a
at me.
lot.
What does that feel like? Does it feel nailed in, or does it feel like a magnet?
It won't move. It just won't. I'm trying. I can't even make a fist.
Edith, play with the key some more in the lock.
Okay. Like, just seeing if the
See if
lock.
you like double unlock it or
Oh, so to see if. I don't know.
Does it hurt?
Thomas, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really feel good right now. When I touched the
Get him
door,
out.
it hurt a lot.
We're testing.
Oh,
Okay, so his
I'm
hand
gonna
is.
try lifting his hand out without him doing anything.
you can move it, but it's hard. But you almost get the sensation that like it's like Thomas isn't working with you. He's unsure of what to do. He's scared. He's tense. He's panicked.
Just relax, Thomas. Let me do all the.
I am trying to relax. This is extremely uncomfortable.
Does it hurt more if I move your hand?
Yeah, my hand doesn't want to move.
Maybe I can try and turn it off.
Go ahead.
Please.
Okay. I'm gonna magic at it. Okay, great roll. 13 total.
You tap your will. You magically extend your will into the circle, and it's just a matter of permitting what it is currently locking in to unlock.
So,
And when Thomas gets his hand out, the circle flares with hundreds of intricate runes the size of type 6 font. They must have been scratched into the brass with a sewing needle. And they glow blue and fade.
Thomas, you should get out of there.
Yeah, no, you don't have to tell me twice.
we know the cage works.
That's great. Also, thank you, Thomas. That was very brave and
Thank
kind
you.
of you.
Edith, for acknowledging my desire to support the group.
I'm just gonna pat him, but I'm kind of just gonna stay looking at the ring, and I'm gonna like try and go get a better look at those runes from like hanging over top of it.
I
Go
would
ahead, roll weird.
put your head in the door, Rory. I wouldn't cross the threshold at all.
I'm
up to you.
going nowhere near inside of the cage.
Rory is in control.
I am hanging over top of it, and I am looking down at those runes, like trying to. I am able to read a lot of languages that others might not be able to. Do they make sense to me?
Not all of them do, but a lot of them do. What is interesting to you is you know that the runes, for the most part, you're able to contextually deduce that they are arrayed in such a fashion as to maximize the flow of a particular type of spell, to amplify will, to assist in throwing up what you can tell based on some slightly larger runes that you definitely do understand are wards. It's like a Faraday cage of magical energy for locking stuff in. And even the runes you can't translate, even the order of runes, the shapes, the matrices they're arrayed in that you're not quite familiar with, indicate to you that it's really just an intricate pattern designed to maximize the effect of these binding spells.
Do I think that I could transport it and its warding, caging power, or is it more or less affixed to the spot that it is in?
It is more or less affixed for the reason of you don't understand how it all links together. You don't have the magical knowledge. And you know what? Roll sharp.
Roll sharp. Not as good at that one. Rolled okay. 7.
And roll weird again.
10.
This is not a blank spot in your memory or magical knowledge. This is. Give me a minute. Give me a second. I'm phrasing. You understand that magic, especially fixed magic, symbols, runes, glyphs, linguistic and mathematical evocation are as much art as science. And you are familiar with the broad concepts of how that works, enough to realize that this pattern, these runes, these glyphs, you don't not know them because of gaps in your knowledge. Like, it's not beyond you as a scholar of the weird. It's just modern. Magic wasn't here when you were in your prime as a learning individual being. This is innovative. And as such, you don't have the knowledge, much less the power, to remove some of these wards. They're so reinforced. You actually kind of admire the artistry. The power is a little scary, considering how effective it would be at, well, binding beings like you and Thomas in place.
When did I get old?
So, Mike, who gave us this space again?
Kind of a long story, but
consider it damages. And you look behind you, and the man with the suit's in the doorway.
Hi.
What is that? Are we killing him?
No, don't kill him yet.
No.
You're welcome to try. I don't recommend it.
Who the bloody hell are you? I don't know you.
I'm the liaison to the senior partners of Struther Hathaway and Ward. And Mr. Connor is, by proxy, respondeat superior, my client, in a word.
All right, Mike, are we being nice to the lesbians at Strick's Mothers and Wealdport?
Close enough.
What I'm looking for is lawyers.
Okay. Are we being nice to the lawyers?
Yep.
We're being polite.
Close enough. And to answer your question, Irish, red-haired, strange person, as my client, I have a duty, a fiduciary duty, one might say, to act in the best interests of my clients, to get them what they're justly due. And I thought what would really go well to recompense Mr. Connor, and I'm not going to lie, by extension, a lot of you, for the awful experiences you've endured in the past month and a half, is to get you damages in the form of reappropriating, shall we say, the old headquarters of the individuals who subjected you to such awful and very intentional torts.
This is his place.
This is the people from the circle?
Was at one time. This was, as far as I can tell, what's the term? I try to speak in the language and vernacular of my clients wherever possible to enhance relatability and improve rapport. The forward operating base of this group, when they arrived in Wealdport, seeking to do whatever awful, malignant activities they were seeking to do.
Shouldn't we just burn it down?
Yeah,
You could try. I
thought
don't
a
think
good
it's
idea
gonna
was
take.
to put us here.
I'm sorry, say that again, young lady?
You thought it was a good idea to put people they tortured in their place?
How are you going to weaponize it against them if you are not here?
Think of it as having captured an enemy stronghold.
That's
All right.
exactly what I did. It belonged to them, and now, through some creative legal process, generosity, and a $269,000 retainer from the Roman Catholic Church, it belongs to you.
Question.
Yes.
Does it have a vault?
You know, it does. And he points to the back. There's like a dirty rug. There's a door under there with a combination lock. I do not know what the combination is, but if y'all can figure that out, I would imagine whatever is in it might be useful to you. And you're, of course, welcome to do that. But on your own time, I am afraid I charge about $1,200 an hour. And the clock is ticking. So if we could congregate to an area where folks are comfortable, I do know there is a kitchen in the back that was used as the break room for the manufacturing force who once inhabited this building before it was abandoned and taken over by a vicious circle of black mages. I suggest we make use of the plastic table and chairs that are there because I have a presentation to give a lot of you.
This will be instructive. Let's all go.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
And pardon my rather quick style of speaking. I am a raconteur by nature, but I also try to be efficient because I bill my clients in increments of 1/10 of an hour, 0.6 minutes, 0.1. And when that 0.1 nets the client a $120 bill, you try to get a little quick for efficiency's sake. You understand what I mean?
You were one of those annoying.
What happened in trying to speak in my vernacular?
Yar. That would be expensive.
You were one of those
Michael's-
collegiate debate
offended.
people, weren't you?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You were one of those collegiate debate people, weren't you?
The concept of collegiate debate did not exist strictly when I went to college, but had it existed, I would not have only been one of those people, I would have dominated it on a level usually reserved for Hall of Fame athletes.
Michael sets out
Can we
chairs
just
for everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
I
everybody
sit
get
backwards
comfortable.
on mine, hanging over it.
Everyone get comfortable, pay attention, take notes, as the college students would say. Yar, pry your ears open, for here be knowledge, as I would say to you. And
Bloody pirate.
I don't know what you
Honestly,
are.
I think he thinks Rory is a pirate.
I don't know who you are. You got long red hair and you speak in an accent. It kind of sounds like a pirate. I'm doing the best I can. Of course, I mean nothing offensive by it. You are not my client. As such, this would not be firing me for good cause for being culturally insensitive. I just want that known for legal purposes.
I could pay you in a gift card.
Let's move on to the presentation.
That's novel. Paying gift cards. That's novel. That's not something that has ever been offered me before. All right, folks. He claps his hands. As an intro, my condolences for being kidnapped, having your free will invaded by dark magical forces, being forced to perpetrate all manner of felonies, civil infractions, and traumatic episodes against your will, and waking up on an island populated with, I understand from Mr. Connor's report, a very, very disturbing assortment of undead monsters. That would be enough to ruin everybody's day.
They were not zombies. We've met real zombies, but they were kind of like zombies.
Zombies. Zombies make great clients. They're around for a long time. And the longer a client lives, the more you can build rapport, the more hours you can bill. It's a little trick of the trade for you. So here's the story. Mr. Connor filed a report with his superiors soon after he got back to the island, and they deemed relatively quickly that they lacked the resources and or wherewithal to give him the proper operational support to bring this task to a satisfactory conclusion. They also correctly deduced that this situation was not over when you burnt down that mansion, slaughtered every supernatural creature on that island, killed its rightful property owner, and managed to escape back to the mainland relatively unharmed.
All
Should
of
I
that
slow
was
down?
totally justifiable.
You're my clients. Of course it was justifiable. It was more than justifiable. And by the way, before we get to justifiable, an affirmative defense, you weren't even there. No one can prove you were there. There's plenty of reasonable doubt that exists whether or not you were there. You have class schedules. You have professors who are missing you. You have a home. You have a home that was recently renovated. You must have been home. You need to clean up. You weren't there. There were no witnesses.
When we kidnapped, we were.
Oh, he's good.
What is going on?
Let's just get to the meat of the presentation.
First of all, Mr. Connor, I need your permission to reveal proprietary, potentially privileged information and invite these individuals into the circle of trust, as it will. This is not a typical extension of Model Rule 6.3, but it's necessary in the present circumstances, and we're allowed to stretch the law where the law does not account for supernatural occurrences.
All right, ladies, Thomas, as I've said before, since you seem intent on staying involved in this, and Rory, since you don't really have any choice, from what I can tell, if Edith says you're going to be involved.
He wants to be involved, I think.
Are all four of you going to be involved in this from here on out?
I'm assuming this is going to follow us around, so we might as well have as much information as possible.
Seems fair.
I think the fast-talking man is fun to listen to, and I would like to hear him continue.
Proceed, please.
You're stuck, ladies and gentlemen, as the last remaining living pieces of evidence of a situation that is concerning enough to make the very highest halls of power, including the papal chambers, quake with a not inconsiderable amount of fear. Once we received Mr. Connor's report on the occurrences of the island and were hired to investigate, as frankly, very few but us can, given our vast magical and investigative resources. Notable internationally as the best money can buy. Information started coming in quickly. Unfortunately, not deep information, but enough to paint a picture of what's happening. And given the inability of, or disinterest, quite frankly, of anyone else who's willing to pay me to handle this situation, it probably falls on the lot of you. There will need to be waivers signed out in the event of your death or serious bodily harm.
Okay.
It's standard, you understand. Just if something is not cauterized, we can usually grow it back, but we need the legal permission to do so.
I assume mine's still in force.
It is. It will be in force up to 120 years after your passing, but don't worry, we're not in the habit of raising our contractors against their will.
Can I get that in writing?
I like her. She's smart.
You don't want to be not dead. Because you could be not dead.
So, folks, in order to suss out what has happened, and his voice slows and he gets a good degree more serious, I have to tell you what was. Mr. Connor, your report on the events in the library, accurate, full detail?
As much as I can remember. And I've
That was the
found a
most.
few of these reports. I'm pretty good at it.
You are, actually. You're an exceptional source of intelligence, and I credit you for that. Your victimizers, those who perpetrated your assault, they were the individuals in that library, correct?
At least one of them. The other
I hadn't
three we
seen the
didn't
other ones
recognize.
before, but the one in charge.
They did say they were part of the circle and they seemed to know what was going on. So let's go with yes.
Mhm.
He throws a picture on the table, taken from what looks like a security camera at a gas station or a convenience store. It's high def and zoomed in and is definitely Jason Grayson. This is the man, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's him.
Meet Jason Grayson, a.k.a. the Mastermind. Arguably the most knowledgeable and advanced mage this side of the Atlantic. He's pretty famous for writing foundational and utterly taboo texts pushing arcane theory further than it's ever been pushed. He is a walking, talking ethical travesty, the most dishonest, despicable, and sociopathic magical scholar you have imagined in your worst nightmares. We think he's at the center of this little circle, and that all the threads in the investigation probably move outward from him, and what a web it is. He throws down two more pictures, one of a slight, pretty gothic girl wearing fishnets, dancing at what looks like a nightclub, but you recognize her as the female mage who was with Jason at the library, and the other of a large gentleman, scraggly lumberjack-style beard, wearing flannels, a vest, jeans, that you recognize as the Australian, also from the library.
Those were
These-
the sons of bitches with him.
Yeah, that's a confirmation. The rest of you, these look like the right people. We have our
Yeah.
man and woman.
No.
That's
In the library, wasn't the woman very plain looking?
Yeah, that's her camouflage. That brings me to her. This is Alicia Allegra, not her real name, also known as the Summoner. She's an international criminal, former jewel thief, famous for corporate espionage, known mostly for her acuity at summonings and callings, from demons to familiars to dread creatures of the void whose names human vocal cords weren't equipped to pronounce. She's rumored to have a frankly psychopathic and inhuman will, and some innovative summoning techniques, designs, a master of every summoning language known to man and a few that aren't, that has enabled the capture and control of creatures that were once thought the province of myth. Up until 3 or 4 years ago, she was unfortunately infamous for being for sale by top corporate buyers in order to create, well, supernatural fall guys to do horrible damage, rack up massive liability for competitors, and sometimes murder entire executive suites in a way that wasn't traceable. But she fell off the grid and has now been witnessed both through security footage and now through a, well, shall we say, an informal affidavit sworn by 5 people in the company of one Jason Grayson. Safe to assume they're associates. Now, the other gentleman, this is Junie McGovern, a.k.a. the Grafter. He's not a real mage, but he possesses a magical knack. And for those of you who don't know what a magical knack is, it's a unifying gift. It is a single magical power, usually turns up in people who would have been mages or who would have had a natural gift for magic at a very early age, suffering some form of early childhood trauma that restricts their development and means they get very, very good at one thing at the expense of being able to do really anything else. And Mr. McGovern's magical knack is for stealing the powers and metaphysical attributes of, well, pretty much anything else to enhance himself and his minions. This gentleman is like a real-life Frankenstein from hell. And because my law firm always goes the extra mile, we did a little extra investigating. The rumors about this guy are wild. It's rumored that he's a vampire, but that sunlight can't kill him because he stole some poor sap's ability to exist in it. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the Grafter. If half of what is said about this guy is true, this is a scary customer. Any questions so far?
Oh, yeah, I've got one.
Pirate.
It's mostly for everybody else here. Wait, so we think that he can take stuff from other folk and bring it into himself. Could he also put it on other folk besides the ones he took it from?
Absolutely.
Do we think that the creatures on the island, the knife-headed guys and such, all of them bastards, do we think it's possible that those might not have been the result of Jason directly? Do we think that might have been things moving about? Or do we think that might have even been, the smushing folk and taking things apart what went on with Tom?
I'd actually like to hear this. Poll the room.
It's possible.
I certainly think Jason's the type to use experts in any one field to supplement whatever he can do. So if he didn't do it all himself, I'm sure he aided. Aiden in grafting.
He was pretty proud of his team.
I was gonna say, her whole thing is summoning. I mean, we were surrounded by hellhounds.
Oh, and he brought something in.
The undead had some sort of demonic connection.
The bastard would ate us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this is starting to make a little bit more sense.
This Grafter individual, you say, can steal magical attributes. Does that mean he can't steal attributes from just average people like me?
I'm going to say the rumors are conflicted on that. Based on my understanding of knacks and how narrow they are, I'd give you a good 50-50 shot that the rumors are just rumors, but I would be remiss not to tell you such things as he's supposedly a vampire who stole resistance to sunlight from an ordinary mortal. He's supposedly a mermaid who stole the ability to walk on land from an ordinary mortal. It's really, really difficult when someone becomes an urban legend like this guy. I think your odds are good, but I wouldn't chance it.
So why do they want us? We're just people. Well, I mean, Mike's
laying
not.
out the cork. Ms. Edith, let me finish laying out the corkboard, and then we can speculate. And he throws down another picture, and this is the gentleman who came through the portal. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Power, a.k.a. the Scholar, magical research savant, probably the most published mage of the modern era, and the most unexpected addition to a crew that is distinctly criminal, considering he's an infamous recluse with no record or rumor of anything untoward previously in his storied career. What's interesting about this gentleman is he's rumored to be compiling the sum of his knowledge, his considerable knowledge, centuries of magical research, into a single set of, my source called it like magical encyclopedias. And I want to say that this is probably undesirable because he's batshit insane. And that text would be less Britannica and more Necronomicon. But you've probably never encountered an individual who has done more reading up on the weird than this guy. I have no idea how powerful he is, how far his ability to take knowledge into practice goes, but he's a walking library, and a cuckoo one at that. Questions about him?
Where is he?
I wish I knew that. He's been making that difficult his entire life. This is frankly the first time he's been seen in 10 years. He's published some 16 books in the interim, though.
Well, if you find out, let me know, and I'll extract whatever else we're looking to learn from him.
Do we
this.
have-
I like pirate.
Do we have any idea how Jason assembled these three? The first two seem to not be that out of the ordinary, but the third one seems unusual for...
Just you wait. And he throws down another picture. And this one is of a statuesque woman. Supermodel, good looking, but Amazonian in proportion. You can tell just from the picture and the relationship of everyone else around her. It's a picture taken of her in a crowd. She both stands out like a neon sign, and she's got to be like 6'3". This is one Laura P.E. Slade, also known as Laura Rain, also known as Laura Groff, a corporate consultant, also known as the Binder. She specializes in taking ephemeral magical effects and making them permanent. She's been hired most of her career on the up and up, clued in corporations looking to cast spells of luck, good fortune, foresight, and some degree of omniscience, and keep those effects around longer than they really should. Her qualities as a sorcerer are unknown, but her knowledge of binding and banishing magic, generationally exceptional. There's really no other specialist quite like her out there in the community as far as I know. It makes her definitely an interesting addition to this team for sure. And finally, and he throws down another picture, and this one is of a young girl. She's a teenager. You can tell. No more than 18 or 19. Looks super, super slight. She's sitting on a subway bench and is dwarfed by the people around her. She's probably like 4'11", 5 foot. Real gymnast's body. Looks almost preternaturally young and out of place in such a grimy setting. And this is Lucia Schwarzkünstler, a.k.a. The Killer. A literal wizard hit woman. 99.999% success rate. It was common knowledge that she had never failed to take down a mark, at least among including law enforcement that I was able to interview. But I dug a little bit deeper because it's Hathaway, Struthers, and Ward. And I found out that she did actually fail very prominently to kill one mark working for a government employer. And she's working for that mark now. She failed to kill Jason Grayson in 2018. Considering he's probably not making her pay $300,000+ a head to murder people, and neither one of them appear terribly amorous. Jason Grayson, for example, has never even been known to keep romantic company with a woman. There is almost certainly another arrangement between them at play. Just want to put that bug in your ear. And he arranges the pictures in a circle. This, ladies and gentlemen, is, to our understanding, the circle of wizards, or to use terminology that Mike might be familiar with, the black mages, who are responsible for the predicament that you found yourself in and find yourself in.
So why don't you guys take care of them?
You can't afford it.
Aren't they
Why
like,
would we be paying you?
yeah? Aren't they like world-breaking bad guys?
Edith, what do you understand about business? You seem smart. I'm imagining quite a bit.
I didn't think you fought world-breaking bad guys for money. Who does that?
How do I make money, Edith? How do I make money? How does my firm make money?
That's beside the point.
How do I make money, Edith?
Probably by,
By
I
talking.
don't know. Mike pays you, apparently.
Yeah, I bill Mike. I bill the church. I bill my clients. You know what I have to be to bill my clients? I have to be alive. No mercenary worth his salt is taking a check to go up against Jason Grayson and the frickin' Black Magic Avengers. It's not
Alright.
going to happen.
So what are you paying us to do with this?
I'm not paying you jack. I'm giving you information because Mike's employers purchased it. This presentation is the last thing my retainer covers. And as soon as I give you all the information in my file here and transfer over the investigative materials, I am out of here.
If you're looking for a ride out, there's an Uber Black X that might not be too far.
He looks at his phone. Jamal, fantastic. The epitome of a 5-star driver. Thank you for the tip, pirate.
He ditched us on the
Edith.
side of the road.
What?
Edith, don't worry about it. I'm gonna kill him. It's fine.
Don't kill Jamal.
No, not Jamal. No, I'm
Jamal
talking
is a saint. You do not kill Jamal.
I wasn't going to kill Jamal. I never
Oh,
even got
I
on the
liked
topic.
him.
I was talking about these folks.
Well,
But specifically Jason.
we should. I guess we have to. This feels like a Shanghai situation, but if we could get paid for it, that'd be nice.
We're going to get paid in glory.
Let's get all the information we can.
How
And then
about
start forming a
paid in
plan.
your freedom?
That work?
This is where I tell you the bit of an unfortunate piece of news that we're currently holding back with our considerable resources and our contacts in law enforcement. He throws another picture on the ground, and it's a night vision surveillance photo of the four of you: Rari, Mike, Rose, and Edith. And it's a stack of photos when you look carefully. And he sort of just flips through them for you. You take special note of the prominent dates stamped on the corner of the photos. And you realize very rapidly that you are looking at photos of the four of you robbing the university library.
This is during our
Excuse
time that's
me?
missing.
According to your report,
Once.
yes. I will let you know that I'm trying to keep you out of orange jumpsuits, because if you say on the stand that you were brainwashed into grand larceny, it's not going to go over well. It's going to be true. It won't be perjury, but I don't imagine any jury in America is going to be all that sympathetic.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds good.
So
Not a
are-
threat, by the way.
What?
Just designed to whet your appetite for further questions. So, folks, what do you think is happening here? I'm curious what the actual central players in this fascinating drama I've been able to devote the last 3 weeks of my life piecing together think of their roles.
I think we're being blackmailed into fighting the big bad.
Well, Jason knows we're out there. He seems to have interest in us.
Ah,
Could have killed
Oh,
us.
he does.
Didn't. It's his mistake.
he does. I posit to you that you four, well, you five, the only thing I was able to turn up about Mr. Thomas Hemwick is his sordid past as a minor, in and out of foster care, orphan, violent crime, armed robbery, grand theft auto, dealing some of the hard drugs on behalf of some very, very unsavory characters. He goes into a halfway house round about his 18th birthday, disappears what would roundabouts be your 23rd birthday, No one reports you missing for 6 weeks, Mr. Hemwick. And the person who reported you missing, I understand you owed him $50,000 in stolen televisions. I wasn't expecting you to turn up alive, but you are, according to the investigative record, the first missing person in a long string of kidnappings, disappearances, and assassinations we can tie back to this unfortunate crew of characters. And Thomas just looks at his lap and folds his hands. Not going to lie, Mike, I find it interesting that you're keeping, logic would tell me, a career criminal this close at hand. But if he is the only other survivor, it makes a lot of sense.
Don't you be talking about regular Tom like that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently, he's developed a soft spot in your minds. That's all good. If he can make himself useful, it's going to be to your benefit. I'm just letting you know, Mr. Hemwick, and he turns to Thomas, if any of this hits the fan, it's going to be the hardest of all of you to keep you out of prison. You have enemies in that police department. You have been trouble since you were old enough to ride a bicycle on public streets. You got to keep your nose clean, kid. And Thomas just nods and is just blushing like a traffic light. All right. I am going to give this presentation a 5-minute pause because there is unfortunately a part 2. Come up with questions. I'll have answers if possible. Take time, talk amongst yourselves. I have got to take a leak. So I'll be right back. Bye. And we can take a break there if you folks want.
Fair enough. We will go to announcements. For those of you who have been around for a little while, you know we take a mid-session break, and we're going to start with Dan today.
Hello. I am here. I have announcement. And what am I menting today with my announce? Why, Ombligo del Diablo, of course. What is this, you ask? What sort of announce do he do? Well, you see, it is a Mage, the Ascension, 5th edition podcast. It is an actual play podcast where we do some magical nonsense from time to time. It is a dark, magical Western set in the deserts of Southern California, featuring lots of grim fantasy for those who might appreciate streams such as this. It has been a pretty successful project. I'm very proud of my participation in it. I think it's a little over halfway through its release run at the moment. For those of you who've been around with us since we were playing D&D 5e and know Ginger Snaps on there as well. And great, there is an aloof puppet in our chat right now who is also on that podcast. It is a great time. I would try and spell it, but Chloe would get very angry at me. You can click on my name in the Dealio and find it. Ombligo del Diablo.
If you're not watching us on Twitch, come find us on Twitch. We are twitch.tv/uncannypros, and you can find the link to Dan's project in his little bio.
Zoom.
Zoom. Brilliant. Next up, we have Elle. Elle.
Hello.
What are you working on?
Oh my God, there's so many things. Okay. So to start, oh my God. It was one of those things
We'll
where
just
you're
take a
like,
breath.
yeah, I'm just going to start over. Okay. To start, if you guys have been following us since we played D&D or any of the other various things we've been doing, you probably know that Elle is associated with this fun little company called Gooey Cube. Gooey Cube makes amazing immersive adventures for the 5th edition. So if you haven't heard of them before, just go to our little about section, click Gooey Cube, check it out. Super cool. But the reason I bring it up is because literally tomorrow we are headed to GaryCon out in Lake Geneva. It is going to be a wicked cool time. I will be there. Gooey Mike, Elphinius Goo. The whole fun team is going to be out there doing all sorts of crazy cool stuff. So if you're in the area or you want to hit up a con, come see us. We'll be there. In other news, if you are ever looking for merchandise, Chloe, did we create a store?
We did. We created a store. Ah! And it has new stuff in it.
Super lovely. Chloe did most of the work, if we're being totally honest. But there are super cool new merchandise pieces in there. You can check it out. Everything from mugs to hoodies to notebooks. Plus a ton of new stuff is coming in. Like, give it 2 weeks. I've got all of my tools back together and I'm ready to get to work. It's going to be a great time. Yes. And the very last thing is, if you like my style of art or at all interested in checking out some of that, I have a store called Fateful Designs, or Fatefully L on Etsy. Again, all in the About Us section. I do stickers, I do art, commission stuff, like pull that piece of garbage off of my stickers. But I make super cool witchy, tarot-y, D&D stickers. So if you're ever looking for that kind of thing, just check it out. Just again, about Fatefully L. It's a whole thing. But yeah, I think that's all I've got, though. I think
that's a lot. That's many things. That's many things.
Thank you.
Well, next up is the lovely Bill, who has
never been described as lovely.
I figured you might not have been described as lovely, so I thought I'd take a chance at being the first.
I think you're that.
What are you up to these days?
I am working on getting my first RPG supplement published at my new company, fairly new, otpgames.com. I don't know if you updated the...
I haven't had a chance to update that, but that is coming as soon as we get off.
The website's still in progress. It's up now, but it's clunky and ugly. But I'm hoping to have the book published next month, and then I'm already working on the second one. Having Els going to be doing some artwork for that. So doing a tarot deck supplement, or a deck of many things supplement, plus a deck of many things. So it should be fun. And you've if anyone saw the couple sessions I DM'd when we were playing D&D, I have some strange and scary and creative, I think, additions that carries through into what I do in the supplement business. So.
That's awesome.
We're looking forward to having it out there soon.
It's always fun having new inspiration for games and such to run. Yeah. Cool. I think that's about it. And we will pop, I think everybody, well, just about everybody is back. So we'll hold on 1 second. And we'll have...
Right on, ready?
You should ask me what I'm doing.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you
Because Al's not back.
What are you up to, troublemaker?
Well, if you guys have been watching along for a little while, we have a book and movie club that we run on the last Thursday of the month. This month it is The Discovery of Witches. We are reading the first book and watching the first season of the show. The second season, I think, dropped on Amazon and the Sundance Channel just this past little bit. I'm having strong feelings as to whether this one, or as to comparing this one to The Magicians. I have very strong feelings. I feel like they wanted to be the same thing, and they're very not.
Would you say that you have ample material after reading and watching about which to vent?
Yes, so many things to vent about. And my partner...
You're going to want to tune in to read, watch, vent.
Yep, last Thursday of the month. Yeah, I think that's about it. That and the store that I'm working on with Elle, which should be in our shop. If you go to our shop link in the Twitch channel, it should take you to the new store with mugs and notebooks and hoodies and fun stuff.
Join me on Thursday, folks. As an attorney, reading, watching, and venting are three of my favorite activities, and I trust they're yours as well. So let's all go have a good time.
Indeed. And with that,
set stuff on fire.
Oh, I don't set anything on fire. That would be costly.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
I mean, it is a metaphor. I mean, I feel like on Tuesdays. That is our time to light things on fire. We light things on fire on Tuesdays. It's like on Wednesdays we wear pink.
That's usually plan A.
Well, we
You're
want
my
to watch.
favorite.
We want to watch you. We want to watch you use the mighty barbs of your excoriating critical wit to render great wisdom upon the audience.
Have you ever been on stream and didn't know you were on stream before?
Oh,
No.
I'm glad I didn't like fart or burp.
That's human though.
It's true.
It creates a sense of connection to our
It's
audience.
the thing that
It's like
people
I'm taking this
did.
parasocial relationship and I'm just throwing it at him like a Kamehameha wave.
He can't use that excuse because he's not playing a human.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
who knows what
parasocial
I'm
relationship.
playing?
Don't get me started. All right. So, we back, folks?
We're back.
Got some ground to cover in an hour, 15 minutes. So, he comes back after 5 minutes and looks at everybody kind of like, all right, folks, there's one more component to all this, but I'll get to that after we go through a round of questions. I see your gears spinning so fast they're probably smoking. So have at it. Start with you, Mr. Connor. You're the one whose employers are paying my fee.
So there are those in the police force who were ready to arrest us for breaking into the university library.
Yeah. Fortunately, those on the police force who were aggressive and were initially assigned this investigation, their names kind of tend to be mud lately. You're welcome.
All right. And has the university noticed which books are missing?
They're currently undertaking a inventory of what's been missing. I was able to seal the involvement of Miss Rosemary and Miss Edith. Some convoluted argument, an associate do it for me that they were your unwitting accomplices. That's you and the pirate. Not a real big deal as the situation currently unfolds now. It's just the only way I could preserve their access to the library as students.
Go ahead, Edith.
See, I'm looking out for you guys.
If you told them that we were Mike and Rory's accomplices, does that mean Rory should stop going to class?
I noticed after digging around, and unfortunately by digging around, accidentally brought him on the radar of several professors who don't know his name or his enrollment status. So I took the liberty, dun dun dun, and he takes an envelope out of his breast pocket and tosses it to Rory, of creating a Rory Flynn currently auditing classes on behalf of the archaeology department at one Cambridge University. He has a 3.2 GPA, a predilection for old movies, and a student visa that should last until this time next year at the latest. Questions?
Thank you.
Oi.
That's kind.
Loose ends, they make problems. Speaking of the erstwhile Mr. Flynn, questions?
More of a request. Just if you do happen to get a lead on any of these folks, I know you're expensive. Give me an opportunity to be the one who pays you somehow. Fair enough?
That sounds like BizDev 101. You got yourself an accord.
Perfect, friend.
And girls, Edith Rosemary, questions. I understand this is probably pretty challenging information to internalize.
Oh, it's less challenging than you'd think.
Yeah, I know. Tess, right?
Why? No. This
Jesus
cannot have
Christ.
anything to do with her.
Unfortunately, Edith, I think it might.
Okay, well that answers my question then. I'm done with questions. I will do your stupid blackmail mission. And if we do this, are we good? Can we go have a life?
There's no blackmail, folks. I'm
Feels like
holding back a torrent of water. Think of me as a dam a dam holding back something I'm about to articulate for you. And if you don't open the sluice and relieve that pressure before long, I'm not going to be able to keep it back. Think for a moment that I am one of the highest price, least ethical attorneys that money can buy. I will do everything in my power to keep things normal for the lot of you. I'm being paid a great deal of money to do so. But what I'm not, despite the fact that I am a mage of considerable acumen, I'm not a miracle worker.
We get it. You're a hotshot. But what
I'm
I
not a
want to know
miracle
is,
worker, Edith.
if we do this, can we have a life?
Possibly. You'd have to succeed. But we'll get to that. I'm building up. Part of what you pay for is the drama. Real quick. Rosemary.
I don't understand. If we're accomplices to Rari and Mike,
Those criminal masterminds, them.
how are they going to let us ever graduate? Edith's supposed to graduate in what, 3 months? If that?
Yeah. I mean, that would be the plan, right, Edith?
I'm graduating in 3 months.
You're graduating in 3 months. Well, right on. So that's a goal, right? That is that's what we're trying to make happen, amongst other noble goals like keeping Mr. Hemwick out of prison for the rest of his life. This municipality has a 3 strikes law. The elements of larceny, ladies and gentlemen, the unlawful taking and carrying away of someone else's property without the consent of the owner and with the intent to permanently deprive the owner of the property.
Can we just bring it back?
Bingo.
Okay.
We could do that.
No intent to permanently deprive, return of the property, and with yours truly greasing the palms, the forgiveness substituting for the consent of the owner. I've taken apart that crime piece by piece and given you lot the runway to resume your lives. So, what's the $1 million question?
Where are the books?
Close.
No,
Close.
that
Mr. Connor, what's the $1 million question?
How do we get the books back to the library?
That's actually a really good question that I haven't quite taken into account. No. Rose, $1 million question.
What do we have to do? I mean,
Career criminal, what's the $1 million question? Thomas just massages his temples. What books went missing?
oh,
The career thief gets it in one.
don't call him that.
Well, there were books taken by Jason, we believe, so we don't even know if we have all the books that are missing.
Oh, there were. And I credit you for returning what you found on your premise. I'm about to throw a curveball at the both of you. Mr. Connor and Mr. Flynn, you criminal masterminds, you. Why would you react if I told you that during your period of, shall we say, psychological malfeasance, you returned almost everything you stole?
Oh, almost everything.
Mm.
And what didn't we steal that we didn't return?
Are you guys familiar what a codex is?
Am I familiar with what codex is?
You are. In the context of magical texts, a codex is a catalog. It's literally an accounting of various tomes, usually tomes that are handwritten, not printed, designed to give scholars a resource to determine what they need to read and where they need to look for it.
Oh, I know what a codex is.
And I would imagine you tell the rest of the group.
It's that one.
Yeah. One of the most valuable texts in the university collection is the Codex Arcanum, one of only 6 copies in the world. Considered by many to be the most credible, as in not written by someone we suspect was also utterly insane, accounting of various rare magical texts, their values, their locations, and even serviceable summaries of what was included in them. That is the first book a lot of you stole, and the only one that has not anonymously made its way back through various pre-drop mailings scheduled to deliver at staggered intervals over the last month. Book you took. The only books currently missing from the University Library Rare Books collection are the Codex and the books that, according to Mr. Connor's report, Jason and his accomplices stole that night when 4 people lost their lives.
Question for the keeper.
Hmm?
Would Rory recognize what is being described as the book that he got back in the mansion that seemed to be a collection of nightmarish arcane ramblings?
That is not the Codex, but it could be a Codex.
Okay, but it would theoretically help us, but not in this situation.
Yeah, that is not the book, but
Okay,
it is a book that was written to serve a similar purpose.
Got it. Okay.
And you would know that.
All right. He's just keeping that in his head then.
So, this is the conclusion of myself and a bunch of criminal procedure experts, a lot smarter than me. The 4 of you were taken, probably due to your proximity to forces of the occult, the eldritch, and the arcane, but also your talents for gaining both access to and robbing blind the university library. Jason Grayson and his gang were seeking a very particular set of texts. At first, probably because time was not of the essence, it would appear to me that they were using you on a trial and error basis. One robbery, you'd leave with everything you could carry. It wasn't what he wanted. He would stage it to get sent back before a panic erupted when some traveling scholar decided to go down to the hidden stacks. But sometime, about a week before all this went down, and when the gang, and he points to the circle, finally became complete, when the killer joined their little enterprise and was witnessed in their company, things accelerated. You lot ended up on the island and are the only survivors of what went on there. And Jason Grayson and half of his little crew took it upon themselves to steal what I'm imagining they identified as the texts they were looking for all along. Those texts and the theft of the Codex are the grand larceny that is linked to you lot. Damages in well over $10 million, which takes it right up the felony ladder pretty quickly. So, it's not blackmail. Your freedom depends on locating those texts, which depends on locating those mages, which I'm just going to put out there because my client is technically Mike's employer, would probably do well to involve stopping these psychotic individuals from using those texts. They wanted them for a reason.
So we have to find the Codex.
That'd be a pretty good first
the other
step.
books.
Do whatever you want to do it. Just do it. And one last little bug to put in your ear. Mr. Connor, are you familiar with manifestos, criminal communications, and code?
Am I?
You probably would be. Yeah. Radicalization.
Yes.
In the 1980s, a group of magical scholars that Mike's employers would refer to as the gray mages or the in-betweeners or the dark magicians who hadn't yet crossed lines that justified burning them or hanging them upside down by their toes, were the first to kind of explore the potential of computers, first as a repository of information, and then several years later, the internet as a way to communicate with each other. In a way, they preempted academic internet publishing by like a decade. Well, as most dark web shadowy things from those days. As most of them found out, the number one fate that came to those methodologies was being co-opted by much grosser forces. People like Jason Grayson, who began using these underground magical digital networks to both learn and disseminate his own messed up scholarship. But if anyone had a newsletter that the most dangerous criminals of the magical underworld made required reading every time it got published, it was Mr. Grayson. The last thing Mr. Grayson published was a pamphlet that he didn't sign, but that somehow all these circles understood was written by him, given his reputation. It's a page long. It was called "The Throne is Empty," and it's a bunch of gibberish. But we think it was understood as a call to arms, because immediately after it hit the web, it was scrubbed from the web, and this group started congregating, and that foolish, frivolous, rich cult operating off that island started committing real crime and getting real weird and real violent. It all lines up. This is more than just the larceny of texts, folks. I would bet my career, and Mike's employers would bet your health and physical safety, that they were up to no good. None at all. You're the only survivors and witnesses, and you were brought to that island for a reason. I would watch my back if I were the lot of you.
Do we know if any members of the cult survived? Who maybe weren't on the island?
We don't know for sure. Roll calls and accountings of bodies are very difficult, considering all the human centipede shit going on in that unfortunate environment. But we've not accounted yet for all the bodies. Neither my firm, which is better than the police, or the police. So it's sure possible.
We don't happen to have a membership roll, at least guesses of who's in the cult?
They were that dumb 6 months ago, but not when Jason de facto took them over. Records were burnt, destroyed. People were kicked out. New people were initiated without their usual over-the-top and elaborate masks and rites. In fact, I think there was an entire initiation that occurred some 5 months ago that served no purpose other than to obfuscate who the actual members were, because a lot of those people were never contacted again.
So where do we start?
Well, you want my opinion? It's really up to you, but
Yes, Mr. Fancy Attorney.
when I have a case and I'm looking for something that's missing, I find out what's missing.
The codex is missing.
That's a good start. I also have no idea what books went missing on that last horrible night. University's playing that pretty close to the vest. It could be because there's blood in the water and they don't want any of the sharks to smell it. Or it could be that they're hoping someone like you steps up and takes blame that they can pin on you in a court.
So we can't just go down to the library and be like, hey, we're journalism students. What books we're missing?
You are aware your IDs have your names on them, correct?
Well, yeah, you are aware Rory can look like anyone, right?
Ah, yes. Well,
We
you
can't
give it a
do
shot. Who am I to tell you what methodology to take? I'm trying to illustrate the situation for you, and for the remaining 20 minutes of my time that's been paid for, give you any advice or answer any questions that I can.
Is the university working with the police on these missing books yet?
Oh, no. And it's driving the cops up the wall.
Oh, that's what that real frustrated fella must have been on about besides her kidnappings.
Yeah, Mr. Deacon, I think his name is, cop from Boston. He's heading up the investigation, and for my money, is the only Boy Scout in the group, the only one who's not crooked, if you catch my drift. And he's being frustrated at every turn, not just by his own people who are not doing good police work, but also by the utter lack of cooperation from pretty much everyone involved, except, as I understand, Mr. Connor and Mr. Hemwick. though your reports were given confidentially, and he has honored that.
Well, maybe we can talk to Mr. Well, no, you just said Deacon doesn't know what the heck's going on. This is
Do you have the names of who's working on it at the university? Who's heading the university investigation?
Oh, it goes up to the president's office itself. The chancellor's involved in this, folks. I need to make clear to you, if you don't understand, Felton University, they're not held up as the West Coast Ivy League because of their sports, because of their law school, because of how many Supreme Court justices get appointed from them. It's the library, people. It's the most up-to-date, voluminous rare books collection on the planet. It rivals the Vatican, arguably surpasses them on this particular subject matter. And y'all stole books worth more than a yacht individually. It's a big deal. They're freaking out.
But do we know who's heading the investigation, though? Who would know what books are missing?
The chancellor's office is the one steering the investigation. They are paying a contractor, giving him the inventory. It's all very hush-hush. I was not able to penetrate it. Quite frankly, I didn't try that hard, but the retainer was spending, if you catch my drift.
I think we know enough to go on.
I mean, the whole library is on a Dewey Decimal System, right?
I have no friggin' idea, is it?
It should be.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So couldn't we just go down there and find out where the breaks are, and then at least we can see where some holes are and see which books make sense?
Are the
Weren't
books
easy
the
getting in
position?
last time.
Rory,
I would
you can.
imagine your access to the rare book section, ladies, has been dramatically curtailed, but you're welcome to give it a shot.
Also, their elevator was utterly decimated.
Yeah, I heard that. Is it a cool story? How, or just kind of the regular operations of business?
Pretty cool. I was a goose.
Okay, but Edith, we know a couple people at the library. Just because our IDs are not allowed doesn't mean that we can't get in there.
Make sure the people you know at the library are alive, but you're on the right track.
I think it might
I
be
mean, I
easier
have more
to.
than one friend. Surely she was not the only one.
I'm just saying, you just want to first cross-reference is deceased versus alive. I'm just trying to help.
It might be easier to find out who the library is contracting and try to penetrate their safeguards. See if we get a list from them.
Why not both?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because I can't be much help in your side of it, but I can talk to people. Rumors spread fast at Felton.
Our law firm works the way it does and has become known for accomplishing the impossible because we accumulate teams of incredibly talented, genius intellect people. We sort them based on their strengths and weaknesses, and we give them tasks they are best suited to accomplish. You break impossible into bite-sized bits, and you accomplish them bite by bite. I posit to you that you've become a cell, an office, a group of people bound together by destiny and the crimes that you've been accused of with vastly different skill sets. If I were you, I would take any problem that came down to the pipe, like the legal department does, bite by bite, strength to strength. And you don't have to unify your goals until you're in danger, in which case strength's in numbers. This is the advice I'm paid to give you. You can take it or leave it.
Can we get a stipend as the cell of your legal department?
We're not working for him.
Rory, shh.
A stipend for what? You mean like I'm going to you're not working for me. I don't care. You do what you've got to do. I'm not going to rub Jason Grayson wrong in any way if I can help.
Okay, but wouldn't it be easier for you to keep our names clear if we had enough money to get into places we needed to get into?
I'm here to make money, not pay you.
We can get into places we need to get into. I have some funds.
All right.
I know
Thomas
I've got magic.
meekly raises his hand. And holds out his phone and he clicks on it. And he clearly opens a picture. He passes it to Rose. It is a hotel safe, and it has some stacks of green in it.
Oh. Is this yours?
I think so.
We'll talk about it in a little bit. Don't worry.
I
$150,000 worth of TVs.
think so. Because the guy who reported me missing and his friends, once I got the safe open, they tried to kill me for it.
Tried?
Oh, he's not dead.
They didn't succeed.
All right,
They
let's stop talking about this for the moment.
I would like to donate the money to this. You guys deserve to have your lives back, and you saved mine. The least I can do is contribute $38,619.
Okay.
I accept your donation on behalf of the group.
Thank you.
I hope you guys can use it to make this right.
It's a good move. It's okay. And
Well,
she
that sounds like a budget.
That'll do for now.
Serendipitous. And now you can pay for things. I would recommend that some of those things be ammunition, but you can pay for things.
Thank you, condescending lawyer man.
That's my job.
How much time is left?
Honest, I'll let y'all ping me with anything else you got, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I have a mergers and acquisitions meeting to get to, and I am starving.
Enjoy your murders and executions, then.
I do enjoy those as well. Thank you very much. I like the pirate. Pirate's cool.
And I like you, silly folk.
Mr. Connor?
I think we have some place to start looking. Are you doing any more intelligence gathering on these individuals?
I haven't been paid to do so, but listen, I'll tell you what. Last I recall, we were at like 88.1 hours. It's a contracted investigator, contract intelligence squad. I'll give y'all an additional 15 minutes to sew up any 50 minutes of billing time to sew up any loose ends that you might have, to show my support for taking on one of the most dangerous dudes I can literally conceive of. Not fair. My being a team player, good customer service.
5 stars.
That's right. I financed you those stars. Anyone else? All right. Enjoy, folks. I am out of here. Mr. Connor, I consider our contract to be satisfied in full. I will proceed to wire the funds from the retainer agreement from our escrow account to general funds. Ladies, gentlemen, enjoy. Goodbye. He just leaves, just books it, beeline right out of there.
Say hi to Jamal. Okay, so we got this place. What now?
We need to find out what books are missing. First of all, know where to look and start figuring out if we can locate any of these individuals and take them down one at a time.
Let's start with the books.
I agree.
The easiest thing to do is for you two to start going around the university, talking to people who work at the library, and ask if they've heard any rumors about what books are missing or who has the list. There's got to be people talking about that.
We'll figure it out. We know enough people.
See if you can find out who they contracted to, and then I can go try to find out from the contractor what books are missing.
I feel like there's also something we could do that's pretty obvious that I'm surprised we haven't yet.
What's that?
Now, I don't mean to be a snoop. I like bringing the girls coffee because it's like one of the only things I can do that Edith doesn't get mad at. And I was trying to bring coffee to their class once, and I mean, one of your professors is this guy's brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask about Aiden.
He seems like somebody to talk to. I don't know.
No, you're right. We should.
Yeah, we can get a meeting with him. Do we think he's a psychopath?
No.
No, but he
I've
canceled
worked-
class this morning, so I figured he was sick.
I've worked with him before.
All right. Well, that's a better start than we had. We can talk to him.
That's a great
mean,
plan.
I feel like if there's anyone who can give us insight into the guy the picture calls the mastermind, it might be his family. I wish I had family tell me stuff about me.
I don't think they're real close, but he might know something we don't. Probably does.
Yeah, worth a shot, right?
Well,
Man.
How about we go try to do that and reconvene here tonight?
are we not all going to try to talk to him?
You know what? I think having everybody in the room to question him might be a good idea.
I mean,
Mike,
unless
you know him. He wouldn't feel like it was an ambush. It's not like most of us are strangers. I'm a stranger, but the rest of you aren't.
Yeah,
go meet
let's
him.
do it.
Do we know when his office hours are?
Yes, you do. On account of Rose and Edith have needed to
I was
use them
gonna
to
say,
catch
Rose-
up.
All the time. All the time, Rhodes is like, oh, I messed up. I need help.
Yeah. I mean, he's in theory there. He canceled class this morning, but we could go look at his office.
Do you wanna do that?
I think that's a great plan. It's a great start versus kind of being
Fast forward to
Yep.
the university.
You guys are smart. You know that office hours, especially for an undergraduate adjunct who's popular, they tend to be really front loaded. Everybody tries to get in. College students don't have a ton of willpower or patience, so if you wait till the end, you know that it's pretty much dead for most everybody. So you come sort of on the back end. His Thursday office hours, he offers 3 hours of them, which is unusually long, but he genuinely enjoys talking to the students. And you go in to see him.
I'm in my perfectly average college student look.
When you walk, he's wearing a suit. The jacket's hung up on a coat hanger in the corner of an office that he obviously didn't outfit. He's just borrowing it. His arm is in a sling. He's got a wicked black eye and a cut with stitches on his forehead. But otherwise, he acknowledges Rose needs to walk in like, Rose, Edith, nice to see you. Mike is here, and
This is regular Tom. It looks like you saw your brother.
I close the door behind us when
Oh,
Edith
God.
starts.
What a way to dive in.
Okay, rewind. What the hell did you just say to me?
This is regular Tom. We found him on an island, run by your evil brother, who looks exactly like you, and I think probably hates your guts.
That's right, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's the gentle side of the story, quite honestly.
And so we were wondering if you could help us with some questions.
Edith. Second. Mike, what are we
Edith.
dealing with here?
Edith, we got to work on breaking the ice slowly. So
How do you two know what is going on
Know
here?
him.
It's a long story, but your brother is up to no good, as you know, and
Always.
we're in the middle of it. All
Oh,
5 of us.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike,
he killed us.
did I do that on accident?
I don't think there's
Who knows?
nothing to do with you.
What
We just happened to be wrong place, wrong time.
happened? Did he hire you and you didn't know, or
Yeah, you'll hear about it sooner
Way
or
to
later,
say it.
probably. He actually took control of us.
no?
Yeah.
And then killed us.
Yeah.
That
Huh?
part did happen.
He did. And that, you know that island that blew up?
Yeah, I watched the news.
Oh yeah, that was him. Well, that was
Well,
us
it was
blowing
us.
up his lab. And apparently we stole a bunch of books from the university, and we were hoping that you could help us figure out which books we took.
Yeah, I know you did.
I'm
know
a
you
few
did.
steps behind.
We didn't know at the time. We found out yesterday, a few days ago, that we stole the books.
Yep.
I
Also, thanks for reporting us missing.
knew you stole the books, guys. I
Go
was looking.
on.
I was looking for you. I broke into your house to try to cast a tracking spell, and I saw them in the basement.
Things.
Oh,
What-
so it's the
Things.
circle who beat you up, not your brother.
No.
Oh no,
Oh.
did we beat you up?
I was investigating my brother. He keeps dangerous company. My law firm was hired to look into him. I did the legwork.
We met your guy. He's annoying.
You have no idea.
When you
That was really
when
rude.
you when you went to their house, was the Codex Arcanum there?
You stole the codex? No. God damn. What did you get into, Mike? Are you okay?
Nope.
Super.
Relatively
not.
speaking, yeah. I've actually been worse.
You you stole for my brother, who was controlling you, I'm imagining magically, the 4th most valuable book in the United States of America.
Apparently.
Great. That's awesome. Good for you.
Feeling great about it.
How, Mike? No offense. I get it. 3 of you're good kids. I mean, Edith mostly. How did you get into this?
Edith is a good kid.
I have never done anything wrong. Seriously, like, I am offended right
Edith,
now.
I'm teasing you. You. You know I respect you.
Okay.
After everything that happened with your family and whatnot, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. I should have figured that would be a sensitive scab.
No, it's okay. Now,
I think the actual central point of all this is Rory here.
Yeah, Mr. Flynn, I got your belated paperwork from across the pond. It took a weirdly long time, but we're honored to have you.
He
Glad
was
to be
the actual
here.
focus, and we were all just kind of peripheral to that.
Excuse me. Wait, hold on. Mike, I feel like that's making quite an assumption.
It's a guess, but
I don't even know that it's an educated one.
there's some evidence to back that up. I think your brother was concerned about Rory and was trying to take precautions against him, and the rest of us got caught up in it. It seems like a reasonable
That's a
assumption.
perfectly reasonable assumption, but Jason is his mind is like a Rube Goldberg device from hell. Don't think he can predict his moves or his intentions that simply. He's always got moves. He's always many of them ahead. When we were kids, he was a genius. Everybody wanted a piece of this guy. I don't know if y'all know this, he had no interest in science or mechanical engineering at all, and he got offered admittance to MIT when he was 11. This is the kind of guy we're talking about. When he was a kid, it was all about learning. He read voraciously. He audited classes in his free time at Ivy League universities. We were on the East Coast. And when we were young and he was still like a person, I thought it was cool. That wasn't me. I liked playing football and baseball and running around with my friends, and the lessons my dad gave me in the Eldritch Arts, those were cool. I was curious about that, but Jason was a machine. He was a computer. And the older he got, and the more he devoured things, and the more books he read that he wasn't supposed to read, the more like this he got. He doesn't think like you. He doesn't think like me. I'm not certain he has what we would strictly call a soul anymore. I'm sure if he found someone to buy it, he's bargained it away by now.
Okay, we know he's crazy. We don't really need to find him. We just need to find the book.
Speak for yourself.
Thank God. Mr. Flynn, don't. You've never met anybody more dangerous.
Look, we just have to find the book so that way we can kind of start going back to normal. He says that if we don't, we could go to jail, and Thomas is not doing that.
Rose, none of us are going to jail.
Yeah, none of us are, but he made a very clear point about Tom.
Edith, how do you get mixed up in that business with Tess and this in the span of what, a year?
I did not try. I tried very hard. I had put it all out. The only thing I had left from it was Rory.
Level with me, kid. Is that true? Or are you trying to do some weird pseudo behind the back scholarship to try to figure out how to put all that mess to right?
Mike, did I or did I not ask if you could give me a shrink that would help me forget the last year of my life?
What? Edith.
I don't want this in my life. I do have Rory. Thanks to Tess.
Excuse me?
I'm not going to keep him inside his coin because that seems mean.
Wait. Repeat that slower.
Your call, Edith.
That's the only tie.
How Tess gave you a foreign exchange student from the UK?
Well, I mean, no.
Edith, look, we've been through a lot together. And I suppose you are still technically my client and not just my student. If you want me to drop it, I will. But take care of yourself. That does not sound good.
I'm trying. I have to take care of me and I have to take care of him. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Well, you
and
are
Rose. And now regular Tom.
Regular Tom, huh? Let me guess. There's an irregular Tom running around out there causing no uncertain amount of mischief. Is he another one of the lost kids, Edith?
We haven't seen Weird Tom in a bit.
No.
Are you sure? Because kind of smell it on him.
What?
I mean,
She should probably know that Thomas is the way he is because of Jason.
yeah.
Why? Wait. Again, y'all are throwing information at me without connecting it. Why?
We don't know yet. Your brother was trying to achieve something and didn't care what the moral boundaries he had to cross were. And
Jason was here conducting actual research.
He was on the island.
Live human subjects, Mike.
with a team.
With a team?
Yeah, he had dozens of human subjects.
Us being the last ones.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
And he was in your library.
Have any of you ever read anything Jason has written?
No.
Yes.
Not sure we haven't, actually. There's some notes he scribbled.
I've got some of his writing.
We think it might be Jason. We're not sure.
But not like his writing, like not the stuff he authors. We've just seen his notes.
You
We know it's-
survived him. I would bet a shiny silver dollar you aren't done with him.
No.
What did he do to you on that island? What did he do to other people?
Well, Thomas, you're going to show him your hand?
Jesus.
He did that.
Jesus had nothing to do with this.
No, you are damn right he didn't. Put it on the table, son. Can you I don't even know how that would work. Can you turn it on? Are you in? And Tom's like, I can't. I get mad and it does what it does. I can't make it myself.
Magic folk hurts
and-
real
and-
good.
It's kind of, it's not a precision instrument, so you don't want to see it in operation unless you really need it.
He digs around in his desk. It's a little slow because he's got one arm. He takes out a leather book, slams it down, opens it, turns, looks. Swear to God, what is going on? And he turns the book around, and it's in a language y'all don't speak, but there is a intricate, almost Da Vinci-like anatomical drawing of a hand, and it looks just like Thomas's. That is the hand of fate, son.
Like not a metaphor, like the literal hand of fate.
Well, obviously, a good bit of it is the metaphor, Edith. You know how this works. This isn't a video game, but it's a hand of faith. I should probably go ahead and say I'm not actually certain there's only one. That would explain a lot, though. Did he get kidnapped with you?
He was
No.
kidnapped
Found him
several months
there.
before. He was specimen 0 is how your brother referred to him as.
Specimens. He called.
He
this
was in a
kid-
tank like a fish.
Jesus. Like an animal.
I like an animal.
And there was
Rose just
Actually-
kind of puts her hand on Thomas's shoulder.
He treated you like lab monkeys, and that's
I
not
should-
even ethical.
Yeah, not even
We
lab monkeys can be treated that poorly.
We should also clarify that there was a moment in time in which he did make us significantly more deceased than we are right now.
He
And
killed.
we were specimens 212, 214. and
That one was me. I was
those wages.
14. I took a note of it.
214. Oh my God.
And from
I'm
his note,
disgusted with myself, but I can think like him. I know how he thinks. 214 people is a lot of trials. Jason is efficient. He's sociopathically efficient. He wouldn't have gone that far and done things to that many of you if he wasn't getting something out of it.
There was a lot of talk about breaking down barriers. And the folk on the island seemed to think that there would be tremendous rewards in it for, the drill of cults.
Breaking
But
down barriers, that's everybody. That's accurate. Just confirm.
I mean,
more or less, I don't know. It sounded like he was trying to eat this one's god or something, he says, pointing off to Michael.
He assembled a team of people. I'm sure you might know some of them, and he somehow was able to infuse dead with demonic qualities. I was able to tell that they were demons. You know how I can tell.
Oh my
And
God, he's going to do it.
he put something in us. I think it's what killed us.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
do what?
Oh my God.
Elaborate, please.
Does anyone know what the Arcanum is?
Do I know what the Arcanum is?
You would. You'd hate them. They were they're basically the College of Wizards in France. You probably have had some unfortunate run-ins with them in your day. They're ancient.
Nasty little amateurs, been around for a long minute.
Arcanum is where promising mages from magical bloodlines, it's a horrible gatekeeping mess, go to learn higher forms of magical scholarship, magical languages, how to impress their will upon the fabric of reality, and graduate to being actual true blue mages. The fact that that knowledge is carefully restricted and regulated is the reason you don't have every hedge wizard running around tossing fireballs at police cars and calling eldritch creatures from the beyond. Copacetic, clear?
Okay.
Aye.
Jason was expelled from the Arcanum, one of only 17 people in history to be expelled from the Arcanum. You can imagine how hard it would be to get a group of very egocentric and morally challenged magical instructors to disassociate with you forever for his thesis. His thesis involved taking the limits of magic, the shackles of magic, as we call them, the constraints on our behavior, right? Don't manipulate free will. Don't extinguish life without grievous offense. Don't transmute physical to immaterial. Don't call to this plane beings non-native and release them from your control. It's less of a code and more of mutually agreed upon rules for survival. But Jason's thesis was that magic is what separates us from people, that mages aren't humans. We're step up. We're the next evolution of mankind. And if this sounds like the comic book fantasies of a raving 22-year-old, it was. It was disgusting, disturbing. He advocated a magic without morality. He advocated for scholarship completely unbound by anything even resembling ethics or common sense. So they kicked him out. But he kept going. He kept publishing. He kept researching. Eventually, his ideas evolved. They developed. They got worse. And people started trying to kill him. But by now, good luck. If he has actually gotten to the point where he is taking his magical theories and putting them into physical tests, creating test subjects, having trials, that means he has discovered something that in his twisted, opaque little mind, he thinks will advance what he believes is his purpose, his cause, his raison d'etre. That cannot be good. And if you're talking about him looking to bust down barriers to places, he slaps the book. The Hand of Fate. Anti-horizon. The curtain of reality that separates our plane from everything else. There's a legend from the old country about a hero who entered into a game of wits with a particularly powerful Fey King. Fey King wagers his hand, which was his key from the Fey Wilds to the earth. And the hero, plucky as he is, wins the game and wins the hand. But he's not equipped to use it. He doesn't know the pitfalls. I forget the language. It varies. You understand how legends are. But he ends up doing awful stuff with the hand. It consumes him. He tears open scars into worlds beyond and is devoured by creatures with a lot of stuff wrong with them.
Can you just take it off?
Bloody bargaining for with the she.
Can you just take it off, Tom?
No. That's grafted on him. Look at it. It's his hand.
Well,
the Hand of Fate. Edith, it's a relic. This is a reliquary text. You're supposed to keep it in a box. It's on him.
What's going to happen to Tom?
I don't know. He is a... Son, how did you get involved in this?
You don't know.
None of us know.
He had no.
Why him, Mike? You've got to have some sort of insight. Why put a magical artifact on a boy?
he had no family. Nobody would miss him. I think he was a perfect test subject.
Really, kid? Nobody would. I can't believe that. Nobody would miss nobody. Where do you come from? Do you have any weirdness in your background? Any encounters with the supernatural? And Thomas is just blushing and staring at the floor.
A lot of his memory's been wiped out, so I don't even know if he knows what his background is. All we have is police reports of what his background was.
He hollowed you out, and he stuck that on you. That is disgusting, kid. I am so sorry.
He also kind of split his soul in two, had them in two different fish bowls. Way beyond what I can understand.
Split his soul in two.
Is that right, Rory? Am I getting that more or less right? You know a lot more magic than I do.
I think that based on what I've seen so far, it's impossible to determine, but there was another part of him elsewhere. I think it's impossible to determine if that was originally a part of him, or if it's only become such since, I point at the hand, all that.
You guys you're taken care of him. Obviously, you're protective. Have you spent time with the kid?
He's fine.
Yeah, he's doing
He
great.
brings-
Doesn't know what he's doing, but he's doing great.
Anything weird?
Good friends.
Anything
Nothing.
weird.
Nothing super. I mean, weird is like everyday
Weird that
weird.
would register on our Richter scale.
No, not nothing like our kind of weird.
Rose kind of looks to Thomas.
No.
Like, you don't have to tell anything you don't want to.
It would probably better, Thomas, if you do. I know this is Aiden's brother, but you can trust him. Whatever you can give is probably
Give him
help
some
us.
time.
Kid, what are you going through? It's okay. And Thomas tells the story of the haunting. And anyone who's watching Aiden as Thomas tells the story sees him get pale towards the climax. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, that's bad. And he stands up abruptly, grabs his briefcase, starts shoveling paper, shoveling books into it with his one good arm. Class next week is canceled. I am going to have the TA disseminate an email. Hopefully, I will be back in 2 weeks, but if I'm not, I'll cancel it again. Mike, find the books.
No
Kids?
leads from you then.
You got any ideas where we can start looking? Any? Did you even know your brother was here in this
No,
section
I
of the country?
didn't. But he's hollowing people out and sticking stuff on them. That cannot be good. I have a theory. I'm not going to spread panic until I know what it is. But I'm going to go back home. I'm going to do some research. Mike, I'll be in touch. You have to find these books.
We're trying.
Here's what I want to impress upon a lot of you. He knows what he's doing. None of this was trial and error. This was to accomplish something. Every step of this was progress towards a goal. I know what he's thinking. If he made one final theft, if that's what you're describing to me, and there has been no other reports of, frankly, any crime in this neighborhood in the last month. A final theft, correct? A final seizure of texts?
Yes.
Well, they're what he needed. They're what he needed for the next step. And if he's willing to abandon you lot, failed or possibly not failed trials to just the earth and interference therein, I'm willing to bet that it's the final one. So you collect the texts. Me, see if my theory holds any water. We'll reconvene in a month or two and go over notes. Stay safe.
You don't happen to have any idea what contractors are handling the investigation for the university, do you?
Yeah, there's a group of kids who hung a shingle for a private investigative firm out uptown. We would usually use you for that, Mike, but you weren't available / conflicted out, if you know what I mean, and they came cheap. They were really very, very good. I don't know their name, but there were There were a good bit of them. It was a larger than average shop, and their logo had like a wolf's head.
Okay.
That should be enough to get started.
I got one final question for you, if you don't mind.
Yes, Mr. Flynn. I have to go, but one final.
Do you love him, your brother?
I miss him. I would kill him without a second thought today.
Good. I'll just make things easier is all. He nods.
No love lost at all. Mr. Thomas, don't use it, kid. I can only imagine how much good it's done in situations like this, how handy it's come in what you found yourself embroiled into. But that is a artifact from legend that does not belong on the arm of a person. And just put it this way, if I'm following his thinking as well as I think I am, don't use it. And Thomas just avoids his gaze. Do what you want, kid, but it's a piece of advice you're going to want to follow. Edith,
What?
do what you did for your sister. You handled that fine. I know you don't think you did, but you're the reason we came through that. Your bravery, your ingenuity, your love for her.
You came through it.
Don't be afraid. Okay? You were
Not
born.
afraid. I'm worried. There's a difference.
That's Edith. That's Edith. You can do it. I trust you. You're ready. Mike, cover where it's available. Never attack a wizard full frontal. And if you can avoid it, give nothing even resembling notice that you're coming. 5 minutes of preparation for a guy that knowledgeable. The fight will be over before it starts. If you get a shot at him, though, take it.
Pretty
He's
good
not
at
bulletproof.
shots.
He's not bulletproof. I can tell you that from experience. All right. I got to go. I got a train to catch. He storms out of his office.
Okay.
Let's head back to the house and start figuring out what law firm has a wolf's head logo.
I want to go back home. This has been a long, bloody day.
Tom, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'll follow behind. If I could just have a couple minutes to myself to just sort my thoughts, I would appreciate it.
You do whatever. I want to talk to you later.
Of course.
What kind of pizza you like, Thomas?
Everyone you've bought for the last month has been delicious.
Edith's going to stay behind with Thomas for just 1 second.
Are you going to yell at me again? I didn't do anything.
No,
I don't want to be here.
I know. And I just want to tell you that I'm not mad at you. I don't think you know what you have. Or I think maybe you do. I'm just worried. And I think I might know more than you think.
Edith, you don't fool anybody. Of course you know more than we think. We don't think it. You know a lot. We all know it.
I just want you to know that I'm not mad at you. I just want to protect my friend.
I want to protect her too.
Then do that.
I'm trying. I seem to be doing a mixed job of it, but I'm trying.
Thank you.
Hey, you should... It's not that I don't care. It's that it doesn't matter. but you should tell the rest of them about what happened to you, because it's going to matter to them. They're not going to judge you for it. In fact, it's going to be the opposite. They might be able to help you, and you might know stuff that can help them. You should tell them. And you should tell Rose and Mike about Rory. That's a time bomb, Edith.
I
You
know.
don't think it is, but it's a grenade. The pin is out. You're holding the detonator.
It's complicated, but be careful. And she just walks out.
Thomas sits in the space alone, pulls over the book with the picture of his hand, looks at it, exhales, leans back in the plush rote college chair, and the man from the dreams is sitting on the desk when he does. The two make eye contact briefly and stare at each other. And the man eyes the page. You gonna tell them you can read that? Thomas looks down, shakes his head. The man smiles. I can give you back some of them, you know. Some of the things I took from you when you got off the island. I did it to help you. I did it to spare you. I'm not withholding anything from you. I just figure you want to drink from drops and not a fire hose is all. Thomas looks down, looks at the door, stands up, stares back at the book, stares at it for a long minute. The man from the dream's eyes glint. And if you didn't know any better, dear viewer, you would swear that something about his shadow changed. Take it, Tom. This is your mystery. Doesn't interfere with the other one. Its answers won't have anything to do with the answers to that one. Just take it. You can keep it personal. You can protect Rose from it. You don't have to tell her. You can make Edith happy by being self-sufficient. Maybe you can even help Rory so he can help you. Just take it. Thomas stares at the book, grabs it, tucks it under his arm, and walks out after the others. And that's where we end the session.
Do we have a bumper? Rory?
Well, go ahead. No, we're good.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you for joining us so much.
It begins. Y'all have a lot ahead of you.
In earnest.
This is the Lovecraftian Monsters of the Week homebrew mystery that we run every Tuesday nights. You can catch all of the recordings on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, and they are also archived for a little while on our Twitch. We are the Uncanny Pros on all of those platforms, and we would love to see you guys next week for the continuing adventures.
Because you think you can only see us, but we can see you as well. Those are the depths of our oracular powers. We can see.
We can. So yeah, we will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us.
Have a wonderful night.
Taking his turn in the keeper's seat. Everyone should be excited.
That's right. We have a new keeper next week. Okay. Anyway.
Same story.
Same story, new keeper. Anyway.
We trade.
Bye. We love you.
Have a wonderful night, everybody.
Good night, guys. And it always takes a second. Oh no, it's telling me that I'm not connected to the internet, and so I don't know if I can.
Well, we're still live. I don't know. I'll just keep dancing. It's good. I'll just keep dancing.
Oh,
no worries.
I know.
We're fine.
It's telling
This would not be Uncanny Pros if we did not have tech difficulties.
How long can we
kind of a
just
first half tech difficulties at the end of the show. Though.
If we all just left studio, but it ends.
Are we just gonna dance?
Just
until we-
unplug it and plug it back in. See what happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I'm just gonna like turn off my computer, and everybody
work.
else can also do so. And we'll see you guys next week.
Have a wonderful night,
That was
everybody.
so awkwardly awkward. Deuces.
Oh,
Are we
okay.
off
We
air?
have to actually
Absolutely.
enter ourselves.
Yeah, wow.